Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the weekend recap, and we are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Bussin With The Boys is presented by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Tonight, we've got the Commanders up against the Chiefs. We're finishing up Week 8 and heading into Week 9. So if you don't already know, we've got Monday Night Football, same-game parlays loaded up every week on FanDuel. This week, Bussin With The Boys, we got Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, 2+ passing touchdowns. Marcus Mariota, 20+ yards rushing, and Deebo Samuel anytime touchdown scorer. But what about, let's see. So we've got something for you guys pregame, but what about after the game kicks off? FanDuel's got a 30% live profit boost token for all customers, and I'm telling you, Drive SGP is the way to use it. Every Thursday Night Football, are we not just hammering drives? What's going to happen? Touchdown, field goal. You try to be a little sorcerer and just see the crystal ball and like, you know what? This is a touchdown this time. Not only can you pick whether the drive will end in a field goal, a touchdown, or a punt, but you can parlay with passing yards, rush yards, catches, and more. It's like you're in a box as an OC calling the plays yourself. Just visit FanDuel.com/Bussin to get into the action. It is Monday. Reaction show, the week of the greatest holiday of all time, Spooktober. Round of applause for Spooktober.
For someone who's super big into Spooktober.
Time out.
I know.
I think we gotta have a conversation.
You're absolutely right.
What's going on,
buddy?
Just for reference, here's the back of the bus. And there's the front of the bus.
Listen, we're gonna eliminate distractions when it comes to this show and when it comes to Spooktober. I'll talk about what's going on this bus. I want to first point out that all of you in the back look fantastic, especially Clump. Clump, send it back. Let me see Clump again.
Yep.
yeah, Clump. Keep going. Clump, keep going. Clump, keep going. Give us another flex, dude.
You look like a stuffed animal I'd bring home to, hey, Rue, got you something.
Yeah. Dog.
That actually might be too nice.
So listen, Spooktober is my favorite holiday, and I'm not going to make excuses about how I was at Disney World. I did over 40,000 steps this weekend. I was a little tired. It's on me. I need to dress up. I showed up today. The first thing I see is Sherm in a policeman's outfit. The next thing I see is Mitch as a Stitch, which, by the way, is my kid's favorite character at this time. Will shows up 20 minutes after the pre-production meeting, and he's Rocky Balboa. And so, did I shit the bed? Yes. Is it going to take away from how great you guys look? It shouldn't. This is about Spooktober. This is about ghouls, goblins, and specters. And I appreciate each and every one of you for dressing up. I need to be better. And for that, I say I'm sorry.
I think where the disappointment is every year you're like, hey, we got to sell out. It's Spooktober. We got to lead out. Hey, we got to have the bus dressed up. We got to do all, like, there's like a standard you implement on everybody that you force on everybody. And just to see our guy from the front, like weekend one, you don't hit a spook. And you're not even taking this conversation seriously. Like, I don't know what's happening on the phone that's more important than a Spooktober conversation with our guy, our leader. And then we get into the week of Halloween, and you're the one guy that's not in a costume.
Yeah, I was looking at my phone because I thought I addressed it, and you still want to go in it, which is great. Here's what I think, guys. I think I've already said that I shit the bed. I did. When it comes to Spooktober, I do like to carry the flagpole. I do like to say, hey, we should have standards and expectations. And it's a bad look when the leader says, hey, we need to have these standards and expectations, and it doesn't work out. He doesn't follow suit with what he should be doing. I got to stop looking at Sherm. He's kind of freaking me out with the helmet, and I don't know if he's looking at me or looking at somebody else. But yes, I fucked up. I should have been dressed up. I wasn't dressed up. And you know what? To make matters worse, it didn't even cross my mind this morning. It didn't even cross my mind to get this done. That's the problem. You're absolutely right. And so if you guys want to spend the show, me figuring out how many ways I can say, sorry, I can do that. But I am just letting you know, I shit the bed, and I let you down. You down. And you know what's going to happen come September next year? I'm going to say, hey, guys, we got to make this the best Spooktober. We got to do this. We got to do that. And it'll be a great time for you guys to hold me accountable and be like, okay, you want to be the guy. This is the guy we saw in 2025. What's the guy you're going to be in 2026? And that's, once again, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. This is Mirror Monday.
Yeah.
This Spooktober for me, from just a Taylor Lewan perspective, has been very underwhelming. I will say, however, from Taylor Lewan, the dad, this has been the best Spooktober of my entire life. We have done so many. The kids are fully bought in. We've done so many things with the kids, and I'm very proud of that. But you can't have one without the other. You can't have a good run game but no pass game. All right, you got to put them both together, and I can promise that to you guys in 2026.
That just means on Thursday for our stream, when we all dress up, you need to
win.
all out.
If you don't win the costume contest
All out.
on Thursday, there's going to be some real chatter around this
Okay.
locker room.
There's hope in there.
You need to
you know
win.
what?
He already started thinking.
I'm excited that you guys are giving me an opportunity to make this right. So thank you.
You're
yes.
Let's go.
I got to get the spirit.
Monday.
I got myself a nice little, you know what?
One Piece.
Yeah. A
We'll
nice
see you
little,
Thursday. We'll see you Thursday.
See you Thursday. I'll see you boys Thursday for the stream. For the stream. But it is the weekend recap. Do we want to get in some football?
Yeah, Brian Kelly got fired. Were you about to?
I think, yeah, we talked about it with Pate before, and he's like, if this game doesn't go the way they want, I don't think that happens. But I think a conversation takes place with his coordinators, with the staff that's also going on. Then it's essentially on Brian Kelly. Are you going to fire these guys that you need to fire? But after that ass beating that A&M put on
Dude, it
them,
was bad, man.
and it was close. I mean, LSU was up for a minute. It was close in the first
Yeah.
half, and it snowballed to where LSU, the fan base, is chanting "Fire Kelly," and I think you walk out of that stadium, Tiger Stadium. I think the administration knew right then and there this can't be our guy anymore if we want to keep this fan base intact.
Is there a scarier stadium to have to leave after you're on the hot seat in
No.
Death Valley?
Yeah, Louisiana is essentially always in Spooktober. Like that is it's a
He might
crazy
have
state,
stayed overnight to leave when everyone's asleep.
dude. Yeah, Sherman, you're talking about there's a clip. There's a clip of Brian Kelly that somebody hid in the bushes while he was leaving the stadium or leaving the facility, and he's like talking to people and all that, and he like books it out of there. I have not seen this clip yet.
Oh, yeah. And I saw that Harold Perkins, their best linebacker, is basically was like, I'm not playing the rest of the season.
Now hold on, I saw
What?
that too, but I thought that was no 3. Not on. I think that was no 3.
Did you get no 3?
You got no
Probably.
3.
Hey, Harold
Because
Perkins,
bro, I
if you're
looked it up
listening-
last night and I didn't see anything. Because
Really?
I went to retweet it or quote tweet it and be like, this guy, Maize and Blue, we need this guy.
Of course.
And then I checked one more time and it said no
If
3.
Perk's right, he
Yeah,
puts that
I
one
think he
on-
got no
on
3.
on 3 and actually does chill
This
out,
is-
'cause dude is way too good.
This is BK leaving the building right now. Also,
got no
okay, is he
3.
parked in a handicap spot?
Oh yeah, he told me this morning that I was that week.
Taking one last
That
look
hurt.
at it.
He's allegedly halfway parked in his reserved spot and halfway parked in a handicap spot. That
But
is
that's
alleged.
all allegedly. We're not going to kick a man while he's
No
down.
3.
Does the door open? It does. He's pointing at somebody. I mean, that's a $53 million man walking around right there. That's a 53.
I would love to hear what that.
Yeah, that buyout's just
I was like,
crazy.
I think it's close to $200 million in buyouts so far.
This year.
and 3 fires.
in totality.
So yeah, that's the video.
I
of
saw
the BK.
Josh Pate going off about him. I saw the clip of Josh Pate going off about him on a show, and I think what I'm appreciating is seeing the fan base. Like there's been other figureheads as well talking about it. It's just talking about the optics. Coach Kelly, they're allegedly saying that he was doing, knowing he's going to be on camera a lot and kind of going off on all of his coaches. Like every time that there was an opportunity, like if a bad play happened, he's like, "What the fuck are we doing, Joe?" Like always just, in the microphone, like kind of going at his coaches and thinking it was more of like an optics thing of, Coach Kelly kind of removing himself from the accountability factor.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
trying to make it cinematic. That's not the
Were
move
you seeing
want.
these? Were you seeing these?
I was
clips?
not. I was not seeing those clips. I'll take your word for it though. And
Like
I'll
just every
especially
time
take
a
Josh
moment,
Pate's word for
every
it.
time a moment would happen, it's like people were doing the, where they're saying what he's saying, like quoting, like lip
Yeah.
reading and everything else. But every time the camera would come on him, it'd be like he'd pull down the mic. He'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing here, Joe? You can't call that, with no timeouts."
Right.
Just always like these situations a lot, and they happen. I believe multiple times is what people were talking about. And if you go off Pate. If there's going to be a way, like if there's going to be a hard decision to be had, the position that Coach Kelly would be in, he'd be putting like an ultimatum, like you're going to have to, you're going to have to fire guys internally on your staff, or Coach Kelly is going to be the guy that falls on the sword. And optically, like if you're trying to blame the staff, this is the way that you would be reacting if the camera is on.
Right. Yeah, because if Josh Payton knows the noise and all the noise surrounding, he's obviously very aware. And it seemed like just that small little clip and what you're saying is he is preparing himself to fire guys in order to save his job. But that ass beating was so bad that everyone's just like, you know what, we're going to have to do it.
We got to go another
We're
direction.
going to take out the trash.
LSU's now the hottest job that's open, yeah?
Is that
That's
is that what we're thinking?
That's over Florida,
LSU,
over Penn
Florida,
State.
Penn State. Yeah, I mean, LSU. Clump brought up a really good point where Florida might be better than LSU if you were a coach looking for a longer leash. Because at LSU, saw Coach O, he wins a national championship. 1-2 years later, he's gone. That fan base knows they can be national championship contenders every single year. And they just think, all right, if you're not going to get it done in 1-2 years, we got to find the next guy, which could be the quickest way to ruin a program because you want a little more. You need to see these things kind of develop a little bit. Penn State, very similar, 10-2 coach over and over and over again. He's got to go. And so next coach that comes in, the expectation, you get 10-2. There's going to be a panic setting in there. Florida, you win yourself 9-10 games for a few years. Everyone's like, all right, slowly cooking, slowly get back on the right track. Did I hit that correctly, Clump?
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think for expectations, for sure, the Coach O thing's the best. He won a natty, and I think it was 20 months later was fired. So, and you're also stepping into a place that did hire Brian Kelly, which scares me. So
Yeah.
it's like the people making those decisions, I wouldn't want to be part of that.
No doubt.
offense.
No
yeah,
doubt.
you got to make sure everything's aligned. I don't think they would just ensue just all this expectation. There is a standard at LSU, but I think these years with Brian Kelly, fan base is going to welcome if they have the right hire. Like they're going to have a leash, not to be like a losing record multiple years in a row seasons, but I think that they will have like patience with this next head coach if it calls for patience, and they're having like 9-3, 8-4 win seasons. But yeah, dude, a lot of jobs opened.
A lot of jobs
opening up.
open. More jobs open at this point. I think we've seen in a long time, but also more head coaches kind of rearing their head earlier in the season, being like, "Oh, that guy could be a head coach at a major program." That guy, Alex Golish at USF or UCF? Which one? USF. Matt Campbell, Iowa State. Like, yeah, Summerall, Tulane coach. You've got all these kind of coaches that are like, "Hey, we're ready for the next step." And it just seems like everything's working out where these big programs are ready for a guy to take the next step.
Horrible year to be the Virginia Techs, the
Yeah.
UCLAs of the world
Yeah.
that need a coach.
Not UCLA. I mean, I know they got their ass beat by Indiana,
Yeah.
but I think they're set.
But it's not the year that you want your coach to get fired.
Not a
Yeah,
year that you want your
yes.
coach. Which brings us to Baylor, Cincinnati. I was talking with Sherm before, and he was just up in arms. He's like, dude, Baylor. I was like, I feel you, but Cincinnati is a tough team. Like, you kind of knew that was going to happen. Sherm, if you don't do the staring thing. This is real conversation time with Baylor. But, yeah, where do you go if you're Baylor? Because you said there was an opportunity a couple years ago to separate yourself from the head coach.
We could have got rid of Aranda 2 years ago after the Air Force game. We did not. We actually extended him, paid him more money, and then we got more of the same thing. And now we're looking down the barrel of the gun in a college football environment with now 12 head coaches. There's 12 openings. And it's like, now I don't want Aranda fired. Because what the hell are we going to do?
Nobody's going to want a Baylor job in this economy.
In this economy? Go
Can't
down
have
to
it.
Waco?
yeah.
God, dude. It hurts. Sick 'em Bears.
Sick 'em Bears.
Sick 'em Bears.
Baylor seems like the perfect school to be a casualty of the NIL era.
Got Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of money at Baylor. I don't think there's a whole lot of direction of like not only building an NIL, but like going about finding talent, if that makes sense. I don't know, dude. I'm just very broken. I'm very empty. I'm very sad. And, Baylor's got to right the ship and do a whole lot of things if they want to find success in this era of football. I think a lot of schools could say that, but especially Baylor.
Mm.
Who should we talk about?
Well, we should talk about me almost being a genius over the weekend. Almost. shocking the world and hitching my wagon to the South Carolina Gamecocks. So fucking close, dude. And there are 2 games other than the Michigan game while I'm at Disney World, and I kept the box score up. One was Michigan Northwestern, and the other one was South Carolina Alabama.
Michigan State? Or
No,
Nebraska,
I said other than the
Northwestern?
Michigan game, Nebraska Northwestern.
Yeah,
is
you said
one
Michigan Northwestern.
Oh, sorry. Nebraska Northwestern. I kept watching the box score on that, and then I did pop on at one point Alabama South Carolina when I'm in Epcot. I'm in China, and I go and look, and I'm like, damn, we might be it. And JP and I are throwing a couple texts back and forth. I shoot him a little text like, hey, you guys can do this. Student section lines up to go rush the field. Alabama pulls through. JP, let's get your thoughts.
It wasn't fun putting on this costume today. I felt like the clown thing. Another, like the clown gif.
Yeah.
But man, it's hard. It's like we outplayed the number 4 team in the country for every single minute of the game except for maybe the last 5 minutes. The defense played incredible. Ty Simpson passed the ball 44 times, and I don't know, did he have 1 touchdown?
Yeah, he had 2.
Yeah, but like we took their weapons out. Defense played amazing. Offensive play calling was better. Still definitely could have put the game away. Beamer said it in the post game. When you're up by 8 with 4 minutes left and you have the ball, you have got to step on their throat and put the game away. And we didn't do it. And the most sickening part of the game, I think, is just the first play pick 6, where we throw it out wide, swing pass off our guy into Alabama's hands, 7-0. And it's just like, we did that exact same thing against Georgia when we were ranked number 24. Georgia was number 3. Swing pass out wide, pick 6, Georgia touchdown. And it's like, how do we have identical plays against a number 4 team in Georgia and then a number 4 team in Alabama? We've given away every game this year, minus the Vanderbilt game. And it's just like, when does it end? Probably next year when we make a run. But it just sucks, man, because it says a lot about Beamer too, like to get the team ready. We've been kicking ourselves in the butt all year. Morale would be an easy thing to lose, but he didn't lose it. The team showed up, the crowd showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you walk away from that game 3-5 on the year, going to Ole Miss playing at night, going to Texas A&M, I believe, playing at night, and then Coastal and Clemson, it's like he's done an amazing job keeping the team in it for all the things that haven't gone our way. And it kind of hurts too because it's our first game. Our injury report has been pretty much empty, and we competed with the best team in the country, one of them. So it's just like every single year.
Just pain, man.
Pain.
Is there any part of you that's nervous about the portal world with you guys being 3-5? And what it could potentially look like at the end. I'm not saying that's what it's going to look like, but potentially.
Yeah, it's just so tough to say because with Sellers, you really have no idea if he's going to go to the NFL or stay. I think if he stays, he does stay at South Carolina. Dylan Stewart, he's an interesting one because he's not from South Carolina. He has no home ties. He's been playing his butt off the last 3 weeks. And the whole defense wants to win, but you can see it. I mean, Stewart he's getting gassed like because he's going hard every single play and he's making so much impact that as an ultimate competitor, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if he went somewhere else. Hopefully he stays. I know that he loves Columbia. Nick Harbor loves it. I met Nick Harbor on Thursday before the game, and he's a good dude, good kid. Meeting him was just like a good reminder of like, this guy is like 20 years old, really just started playing for real football 3 years ago and is kind of enjoying just every piece of it.
Yeah.
Has like a naive love for the game, which I wish I could say the same for myself, but I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. Like I want what's best for all of our best guys. And I believe what's best for him is in Columbia, but it's tough. You're 3-5. Guys want to win championships. And this is a letdown of a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we tell them about a couple whispers we've heard?
No.
You have to now.
I thought we agreed not to, and I was really hoping to get to Alabama right now.
Yeah.
But it's too late now. Now you have to tell them.
There's whispers that there's $7 million on the table for Lenoris Sellers. There's whispers.
There was 8 last year.
Okay. Again, just whispers. I'm not saying it's a guarantee or anything like that.
That's one of the whispers, though.
Is it in the Southeast?
Yes.
So one state over.
Will doesn't know.
Let me
geographically.
let me look at the.
But yes.
Is it one state over?
Yeah.
Man, I'm so dumb. I don't even know which one that is.
Let me take a look. Let me zoom out here on my phone.
Give you a hint. One of the jobs, the head coaches may or may not be there next year.
Oh, so probably not one.
What I'm seeing and what I'm thinking is it's 2 states over.
Yeah. There's a golf to it, and there's a.
Look
Well,
again. It's whispers.
Yeah, money's going to be all over the place for him.
Yeah.
Because there's also still a bunch of NFL scouts that are clearly watching the tape. He got to see it in person. Of like Lenore Sellers leads the nation in broken tackles.
Yeah,
He's quarterback.
he's a freak.
So it's like the stats aren't there. So the stat watcher football fans have no idea. They all say, "Oh, Lenore Sellers, he was overhyped. He's this, he's that." But then the scouts that are watching are like, "This is one of the most special athletes we've seen." So it's like he could leave and go to the draft. And I like Sellers' chances of staying at South Carolina. I'm more nervous of Dylan Stewart.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Dylan Stewart would look great.
He looked amazing, man.
He would look great in maize and blue.
No,
Hey, keep it in house.
he'd look horrible up there. It's cold weather up there. He's a short sleeve player.
Good.
DC.
He's from DC. It's
Yeah.
cold there.
No, he looks tough in the garnet and black.
There's
And we
no
just had
doubt.
the number 2 D end come and visit this week.
I would love for him to stay there for you, for South Carolina. You guys deserve it. If he were to leave, though, keep it in house.
No.
Keep it in house. Amazing.
Yeah, I feel like SEC players that. Oh, well, I mean, that's Haynes was Alabama, went up to Michigan. I feel like a lot of those
had
guys
himself,
are-
what, 130?
I didn't watch.
He had 130. 2 touchdowns.
You said don't spoil it, so I didn't watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I couldn't help myself, too. I was like, I'm going to get home. I'm going to watch the game. I have it saved on the YouTube TV or whatever. And then we get back. And I'm like, let me just see what's going on. And I was like halfway through the first, and I was like, I gotta watch this entire game now. Watch the entire game. Yeah, it was a rivalry game. I think the Michigan State got a garbage time backdoor cover, but the offense wasn't like the best performance through the air. It's not what you want. It was like the most conservative game plan I've seen out of Michigan this entire year. Defense, though, like the last 2 weeks since USC has completely changed their game plan to where they were blitzing 50% of the time. Last week was 25% of the time. I wouldn't be shocked if the number was even lower this week, but they're letting the horses run right now. And it's given me a lot of excitement watching that defensive group play the way they are right now. So there's a very strong chance we're playing Ohio State for a playoff bid, which would be.
Don't sleep on Northwestern.
Don't sleep on Northwestern.
Who else you got? You got a bye week this week.
You know, we got Purdue this weekend, and then we have maybe Northwestern after a bye, and then we have Maryland, which is going to be tough at Maryland, and then Ohio State.
Got you.
How did Bryce play this week?
Good. Statistically not great, but I think he put the ball in positions for guys to be successful. There was 2 linebackers and a receiver that will not be named, and he threaded the needle perfectly, hit that receiver in the face. Literally hit him in the face. And so, yeah, he had a couple of nice throws, but it was like he threw the ball 17 times. Like the game was, we're going to run the football and play defense. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 3rd and 7+, I could do away with that game plan. I could do away with that.
Let's not be in 3rd or 7+.
But don't ever apologize for a win. That's what I'll say about that. And shout out Michigan State. That's probably my least favorite school of all of the schools. They got up for that game. They played hard. There was a lot of times Michigan could have stepped on their throat, and they fought back their way into get that Childs kid, the quarterback for Michigan State. He had a horrendous game, but then he had a couple of drives. It's like, oh, this kid, you could tell he's a special athlete. Like he's really
he's
good.
young.
He's young. So team that had nothing, they had nothing to play for. They're 3-4, 3-5, whatever it was. And they got up. They got up for that game. East Lansing stayed in it the whole time, so a lot of credit to them. A lot of credit, even though I despise that school. But anyway.
You got the little brother.
Got the little brother. I did it again.
Yeah.
I think that's 5 years in a row, 4 years in a row. Talk to me about Northwestern, Nebraska, because I'm watching that game on just like kind of refreshing and just seeing the scores go back and forth, but I don't know it really unfolded.
We took care of business. I was saying it last week. Like this wasn't you guys play Northwestern. You guys should handle Northwestern. I'm glad we got out that energy because you had to show up for this game. There was a moment there it was like 21-6, and the refs have absolutely fucking screwed us on a 4th and short to where they completed it. They even reviewed it, but the dude was clearly short of the first down. Not like clearly, but you just know he was short of the first down marker to where he double caught it. Did anybody catch this replay? Anybody see this play? To where he caught the ball coming back to it. And if he catches it, he's got a first down. But he double caught it to where he bobbled it and then fully secured it once he hit the ground. And when you're watching it, like he didn't get the first down, but they end up giving them that conversion. They go down to score that drive. Dylan throws a pick. They end up scoring. They're back in the fucking game, bro. It's 21 all because they got a 2-point conversion. We end up winning 28-21, but look, there's things you got to take care of. They had another explosive on us on the run game, whereas another 4th and short, and the D end is just crashing down the right tackle and mostly just focuses on, they think it's going to be a pile for the 4th and short, so the end's just crashing him down, not even looking at the ball, and Buddy scoots out the side and takes it to the house when they scored off of that interception. Massive game this weekend. Massive game this weekend. I mean, this like USC to me is a very good football team.
Very good football team.
They're coming to Nebraska. It is a blackout game, which I'm stoked about. They got the all black unis on, but this is a tough fucking football team. And right now the line is like -6.5 USC at Nebraska, and this is a money line game for Willie C. But I'm looking at that line, and if you're everybody else, you're almost salivating at this USC -6.5 at Nebraska. Like I think they're giving us some fluff there because we're gonna have to come correct. Like this is a fucking game. This is a tough game.
Yeah,
I have a lot of respect for USC.
Right.
This is the season.
This is the season.
This is
the season.
Absolutely. And that's a good ball club. The huge win is it being in Lincoln. It's in Lincoln.
Yeah.
That crowd, 92,000.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
need
no, they're
everybody.
gonna everybody's gonna be in there. Blackout.
Yeah.
They might need Willie C on the sideline. You might have to go. We might have to go.
Conversations.
Yeah. Yes, we're going to be in attendance for the epic USC versus Nebraska night game Saturday. Hashtag TierTalk. That's from Garrett Lake _Garrett.
Yeah, there are some internal conversations being had at the household. I'll either be at the game or I think this could very much be a stream game for myself. Either way, this is JP said it. This is the season. Yeah. We need everybody.
What time's the game?
Night game. This is night game.
If there was ever a time for Nebraska, and it's perfect.
USC they get back in the top 25. Another opportunity on the drought we've been having against top 25 teams.
People have question marks about the offense, the explosive plays. USC, they have a lot of explosive plays. USC beat up Michigan.
The thought too is there's a very much a controversial. We could have got called for holding on the game. It was, I want to say it was 4th down. They hit us on a double move. Old buddy's grabbing him coming out of his route, coming out of the sluggo, and fortunately, they don't call it. We gotta get back. I'm thinking this is a get back for messing up the 4th and short call on our end, but it happened a couple times. They had a couple big plays on 3rd and medium, to where we're sending the house. And so all the guys are blitz feet on islands, and they hit us with the double moves. So if you're USC and you're looking at that tape, it's like they got some cats. Like this is a game, baby. I'm excited about it.
Keep the ball in your hand.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, dude. Emmett Johnson has been running his ass off, bro. I think does he lead the Big Ten in rushing yards?
Yeah, look
right
that
now?
up.
Led the entire country in
hurt
broken
last week.
tackles over the weekend.
Didn't play.
See, I mean, Jeremiah Love had a ton of success running against USC.
Hayes?
Yes. Yeah. The formula,
Emmett Johnson does not lead the Big Ten in rushing. Michigan's Justice Haynes does.
Yeah. Well, last week Emmett Johnson was because Justice didn't. He only played a quarter and a half versus USC, missed the entire Washington game, and then played this first game. So he missed about 1.5 games.
yeah. Either
Dude,
way,
Washington is a good ball club. That's a good ball club.
yeah,
right
they
there.
handled Illinois.
Handled.
Illinois.
Emmett Johnson's having a year though.
But Emmett Johnson's just having a year. Like this is,
And
this game's gonna be awesome. I'm excited. I'm obviously nervous because USC is a very good football team. This is very much a spotlight primetime game for Nebraska, and because you win this game, you're back in all the conversations.
you win this game. It's like, oh, this is a playoff. This is a playoff team.
You win this game, you control your destiny.
Right.
And
We control
no.
our destiny. Period.
Right. But if we're not even going to talk about
This
it.
we're in the playoffs from here on out.
Right.
We're in the playoffs from here on out.
Every 2-loss team is in that situation.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at Michigan like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, every 2-loss team is in playoff mode right now. And it's very much a playoff game this weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska at night, prime time, under the lights.
We need everyone.
What
We need everyone.
Everybody got to be there.
Black unis.
There's got to be a fly house situation. Will goes, you got to get to Lincoln in the morning.
With everybody.
Got to get to Lincoln in the morning. Our flight. Walk the boys out. This might be it, man. Talk about look at what me and Matt Rule have done. Me being Will. This is the time.
It's also the opportunity, though, for Nebraska to let Will know, like, hey, we got you. You don't even need to make the trip.
Yeah.
Because it won't be worth. I won't even. I don't want to give USC any.
No Baltimore material. This is a great ball club. They're playing very well. That offense is high powered.
Yeah, man.
But great spot for Nebraska this weekend.
Need everybody.
Need everybody.
Everybody. I'm with you.
But yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I am glad that we came out and handled business against Northwestern. It's a tough football team. Nobody should sleep on them.
Nelson 808 at 808 Nelson says, who do you think has the best chance to make the CFP? BYU, Navy, Notre Dame, or Texas Tech? I think the answer. I mean, it's Texas Tech and Notre Dame.
Who has the better chance?
Why would it be BYU?
BYU is undefeated.
BYU is undefeated.
Big 12.
Not doing
Big
bids
12, you're
anymore.
thinking BYU, Texas Tech. It's there. Cincinnati. Cincinnati's right there. All these teams, I think they're playing each other on the back half of the season.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, BYU and Texas Tech, I think, play this week.
Yes, and Texas Tech is on their third string quarterback. Their backup.
Oh, no
tore his
shit.
ACL.
No way.
No.
That sucks. They were rolling.
Rolling.
Every conference is just like there's no clear cut champion except maybe the ACC.
Georgia Tech.
True. Yeah. I'm saying Georgia Tech, Miami, like probably would be a good game. But
That seems like it's going to be the championship, right?
yeah.
Those two play. Do they play?
I don't know if they play Georgia Tech and Miami. But
I
the
don't know if they do
SEC,
play.
Alabama's play calling at the end of the game. I don't know if y'all saw it.
No. You know about my selfish friend.
It was lethal. Like Wildcat to win the game. Fake reverse. Yeah, he can talk about it. But those are the plays that I'm like, that's championship. That's championship football.
Yeah.
They were had to have it moments. And Jeremy wasn't having the best day, and when we needed him most,
The infection.
he was there. I will say at the game, JP and I talked about it. You've been there, Jack. You've been there. Sandstorm gets insane. It got the most hype during the game, but South Carolina had to come out with the ball. So the stadium goes from being as loud as possible to coming back down. It was probably the best case scenario for Alabama.
It's like you want to be on defense when the crowd's getting
Yeah.
And the first time I was like, I think half the stadium forgot that it's 2nd and 9 when we come out of this. And it was just
It's so funny
crucial
listening
moment.
to you with your costume on right now.
But it was great, dude. I mean, yeah, we already talked about South Carolina, but JP has motion in Columbia. That is for sure.
Really?
For sure.
He's out there speaking to
yeah.
the school. He's out there speaking to classrooms.
How was that, dude? How was speaking to everybody going through that? I saw you and Beam get a little coffee, a little beer, a little Bud Light together.
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, going back to talk to the classes, that was awesome. The pregame rush I had before was like when you're getting ready to play a game, and when you don't go play college, you miss that feeling since from high school to you never know if you'll get it again. So my heart is beating through my chest as I'm standing up there, and then finally, you know, probably 2 minutes in, as they just ask you like introduce yourself, you settle into it. And I put it in my post, but like it just felt, it was one of those crazy moments where like I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do, where I was meant to do. And to talk to like 20 kids after, they're all lining up to come talk to me, ask me about different advice, as well as the other speakers. And just like seeing the looks in the eyes, that some of the fears that they had as a junior in high school or a junior in college, senior in college, and to be able to like try to impart some wisdom after sitting in their seat and feeling those exact same fears was just like a dream come true at a school that I love. And
Yeah.
it's like, I grew up a fan of South Carolina my whole entire life, and now I was able to speak at the journalism school where I graduated from and the business school. Mitch's aunt is one of the professors there.
He spoke in my aunt's class.
Yeah, and when I tell you that she might have the best class across the whole school, it's like I'm not exaggerating at all. She's getting these kids prepared better for anything in the next part of life than I've seen any professor do.
Mhm.
So shout out Beth and shout out that class, because she's dialed in on all of the right things that a lot of professors are not. But it was awesome. I almost don't have words for it, even though I just gave a little speech on it. It was just like, it was so cool.
No, that's awesome, dude, because your mind, body, and soul loves South Carolina, and getting to whatever range of impact you're getting to have, but just getting to have an impact on a school that you truly love so much.
Dude, they interviewed me before the game, like one of the media people, shout out Ethan, and they were basically like, what's it like being back home? All this stuff, and I was just saying, Garrett and everybody's.
Said it means everything.
It was so, I was like getting emotional. They asked, what was your favorite moments of being a Gamecock? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, I've seen it all. I was there for the hit.
Yeah.
I got Jasper Brinkley's glove.
Yeah.
I got this, I got that. I was like, oh, that was cool.
It was third and short. Gotta have it moment.
Yeah.
God.
So it was cool.
Dog, that's awesome, man. That fires me up for you.
On the SEC, the SEC is just going to be so fun to watch, man. Shout out to Vandy winning 17-10.
Yeah.
About that last
How about that last play? Yes. Oh my God. Did you see it?
I did
Bro.
not.
Last play of the game, Missouri throws a Hail Mary, and the ball is, did they end up saying it was caught?
Yeah, so it was.
It was caught on like the 1 inch line to where the receiver falls on the ground and his body is on the goal line, but the ball is not.
Oh my God.
Bro, we were
Yeah.
me, Matt, and Ryan were all there, and like that play happened, and it was so loud, and then that play happened. We're like, oh shit, like what
Yeah.
just happened? And like so, Vandy players are on the field. Like Matt, Ryan, and I start walking on the field, and then the refs like hold on, the previous plays under review, and so like everybody's just staring up at the big board of like what happened.
Look at
And
this.
it was
Yo, that is crazy.
Crazy.
literally 6 inches away from being a tie ball game.
Wasn't it backup quarterback too?
Yeah, backup quarterback broke Prabula. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
got his ankle rolled up on, kind of like a Scadaboo situation, like air cast and everything. But that backup, like the offense did not slow down one bit once he came in. So I think they're going to be in a good spot, like moving forward with this guy. But
Man, that is nasty. That is I'm just getting even more mad about the wedding.
It was a great weekend for ball. I mean, I missed all of
I
Saturday.
know.
Pretty much.
But
I
shout
had,
out-
I had to
I-
go back and comb through and find some of these
I
clips.
do need to give a shout out to Cade on their, like, I guess you could say Pavia's game-winning touchdown.
I saw that clip, bro. That is so sick.
The one you guys put in the group chat, right?
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about?
We
So sick.
like the play before, Cade saw Matt and I like with our cameras and stuff, and like made eye contact and was like, "We're that close." Next play, they score. You can literally, like, Pavia's going over here. You can see Cade come in, pull him towards Matt and I, and like after the game, we're talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, I saw you. I did that completely on purpose," and it was.
Dog, that's
You
so
just see it
awesome.
because Pavia's about to roll and he just grabs him. No, you're coming to these boys
Yeah,
right
it was
here.
Yeah.
sick.
So sick, man.
He's
Dude,
got a good video from the other angle where you can like see it all happen from a different point of view.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was on here.
Pavia on nightcap too.
I did. I saw the clip.
Pavia was on nightcap.
Dude, I saw that as well. What do they say? You have any more eligibility? Is I got about 13, 14 years in the league.
Yeah, he did the Chad Johnson silent laugh.
Theo
was
was that Pavio's mom?
Yeah.
That's so funny, bro.
Theo with the recruits too.
Yeah. No,
Like, we get you on
there's
the
like 6 of
sideline.
them, one in a wheelchair.
He needs some rest. He needs to be with the Lord.
Yeah. So now it's like 150 of them. That clip does go so hard, dude. And Pavia, so we have the Heisman favorites right now. Fernando Mendoza's plus 260. Ty Simpson, 350. Julian Sand.
He's having himself a year.
Plus 400. Check down Charlie. Marcel Reed, plus 500. And Diego Pavia, plus 850. A lot of respect for all these guys. I do joke around by saying, but like, this bus might have to become advertisement for Diego Pavia to win the Heisman. We might have to stand on that and sway any voters that might watch this show.
We should see if the bus is on board with that take.
Some two-turn hats.
He didn't have.
I love the Pavia. Like, I love the Pavia magic. I really do. But I also love some Ty Simpson.
That is the other one you look at and you're like, yeah, maybe.
Diego didn't have like the craziest game this weekend.
129 passing yards and an interception.
But
Like,
it's just something
he
about
ain't
like
winning the Heisman.
it sounds so weird to say. Like
Fuck
he
that.
has these.
This is
Jack's
crazy.
first words of the show.
Because I've been seeing it all day, and I'm not trying to do this Tennessee versus Vandy, but Joey Aguilar had 20 less passing yards against Alabama than Diego Pavia had versus LSU and Missouri combined. I love this for Vandy, 7-1, but I just don't know. I don't know.
It's fair.
His vibe is.
I
It's
think
the
it's
vibe
awesome
for
for the
me,
program, but I think that it's like they're taking Vandy as a whole, and they should be doing this whole Heisman candidacy thing that they're trying to like push, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like the aura and the vibe of Diego like just radiates through the entire team.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it like Pavia didn't have the greatest game, and like it hasn't really had like that Heisman moment, but like the entire team embodies his swag, and obviously I don't think that's Heisman worthy, but like there's something to be said about
That
it.
might be Heisman worthy.
What?
Establishing an entire culture on a football team.
That I can get behind more.
Taking a dead program,
They need to make it
transfer in,
new one.
and everyone being like, "Yo, who the fuck is this Mexican kid with a wrestling brain?" And he's just, "This is my team now." Takes over, and they walk around like their shit doesn't stink, and it's like, yeah, it hasn't. Like they kind of just keep doing their thing.
They might be flipping a 5-star commit to Georgia, who's a Nashville kid. Like he was at the game, so like the aura of Vandy is really.
They've taken on
radiating.
the identity of old Diego Pavia.
That's, yeah, and that I think there's lots to be said about that. Listen, we don't have to say he's got to win the Heisman, but can we get him to New York?
Right.
Let's get him to New York so I could see it. And I'm hoping he wears this crazy, gaudy, iced out chain that might just say Pavi on it, big as fuck. And just be like, yo, this kid went to New Mexico, no offers, goes to an SEC school, and he's 7-1 in the SEC right now. That's incredible.
Some of the
Undersized.
I was
Like-
talking to some of the coaches like after the game, like we were somewhere, and one of them was the O-line coach, and he's like, "Tell Taylor to fuel that jet up."
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, Taylor is shitting himself right now.
I am, but I'm also like, I think this is, I wouldn't be upset anymore. It's like one of the cooler stories ever. To the point where Cade's coming to the shop today so we can watch film together. Like he's coming over at 3 today, and we're going to break down the film. And he's like, yeah, I want to watch film. I was like, yeah, dude, let's watch film and let's work on some stuff.
It's so cool.
Yeah, because I got to get him an Amazing Blue uniform next year. I mean, it's all hands on deck. Anything you can do to help the program. So, yeah. Dude, I do. I want them all. Anytime I see somebody make a play, there's a kid from Michigan State, dude. He's like 6'2". His last name is Marsh also. And I'm like, this guy, he's a selfless player. He runs. No, dude, our Marsh is awesome. Our Marsh is good. Former 5-star. Klump knows all about him. But yeah, I'm just getting, I see all these cats and I see the world we live in now. And I know Michigan's got the funds. I'm just thinking to myself,
Are you gonna afford
Yeah.
money?
we did.
That was a nice post by them.
Yeah.
That was a nice post by them.
And Adam Schefter posted too. That was
Yeah, Shefty
Yeah.
posted. Yeah, I'm also recruiting. I'm also Recruiting Cade.
Are you the 2 states over from the north?
Yeah. Vandy's got a real shot to be in that college football playoff, man.
A real shot. Yes.
The rest of their schedule here, they're at Texas. Right now, Texas is favored by 2.5.
And Texas
Auburn.
looked way different this week. I didn't get to watch the whole game, but I did see the box score of that while I'm at Epcot walking through Finland, and I'm just like, this one's in the bag. And
Auburn.
and these motherfuckers, dude.
Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee.
That game's gonna be nuts. Tennessee, Vandy.
Yeah.
That might be.
Who's the rest of your schedule, Jack, with Tennessee?
We got Oklahoma this week, which will be awesome. Dark mode activated. And then we have New Mexico State, Florida, then New Mexico State, and then Vandy. So, I mean, we got 3 big games, too.
Big ones.
Big ones.
Oklahoma's at home.
Yeah. Florida away, Vandy home.
Vandy, Tennessee might be a win and you're in.
Was Florida
Yeah.
on bye this week?
Vandy, Tennessee
Who
could be a
Florida
playoff game.
Florida's
Yeah.
on a bye this week. We were on a bye this week. We're looking for our next head coach.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You heard any rumblings?
It's Lane Kiffin or bust for Florida. Lane Kiffin or bust.
All right. All right. Ole Miss, too. They look nasty, too. Ole Miss is nasty. Dan Lanning?
I'm sure LSU will throw him something, but he won't go.
Yeah, I don't know. Man.
Joe
That would
Brady
be-
to LSU.
That would be heartbreaking for Oregon, man.
Joe Brady should go back to LSU, be the head coach. He was the OC when they won the Natty.
There you go. All right, we got to wrap this up, boys. Let's. Any parting thoughts? Anybody? Their team? Anything? Titans suck. Titans are the least competitive team in the NFL.
I messaged with Ty Simpson after the game, and he told me to let you know that you picked the wrong team. And he left it at that, which hurts me. Just
That's crazy. He would just hurt you in order to hurt me.
I know.
And
So-
yeah, hey, Ty, you were right. You keep that ball high and tight, brother. After I get Diego to New York, my goal will, listen, you'll be there too. You'll be there too.
We got NFL talk coming up with Greg Olsen, and we also who's on this one?
Mike
I know we
Elko.
have a few interviews today.
Mike Elko.
Coach Elko from A&M. You'll get to hear from him. Awesome show. Big hug, signy kisses. Don't forget to leave comments and make sure you are subscribed. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
We're going to interrupt this episode real quick to tell you guys, by the way, I just bit my cheek. That was tough. That was tough for me. Make sure you're subscribed. And I also want to talk to you about Roe. Rose Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription for guys who need a secret weapon against softness. Rose Sparks can give you bigger, thicker, longer erections because they get fuller after Rose Sparks dissolve. They work in 15 minutes on average. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off their first order of Spark on a recurring plan. Connect with the provider at ro.co/bussin to find out if prescription Rose Sparks is right for you. That's ro.co/bussin for $15 off your first order. And since I kept biting my cheek, I also want to talk to you about keeping yourself safe. And we're going to do that with Simply Safe. Traditional security systems only take action after somebody has already broken in. By that time, it's too late. Simply Safe is setting a new standard in home security with active guard outdoor protection. Simply Safe's monitoring agents can help prevent break-ins before they happen. How is that? That's because of AI-powered cameras backed by live professional monitoring agents monitor your property and detect suspicious activity. If someone's lurking around or acting suspiciously, those agents see and talk to them in real time, activate spotlights, and even contact the police, helping to proactively deter threats before they can escalate into a crisis. You can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free at simplysafe.com/bussin. simplysafe.com/bussin. Again, that's simplysafe.com/bussin. There's no safe like Simply Safe. We love Simply Safe so much that we do. What do we do, Mitch?
They're protecting us here.
They're protecting us here in this shop. Because, all right, we have people lurking around every once in a while. AI-powered
value.
monitors, bang, they got them, no problem. And while we're in our safe shop, what do we like to do when we want a nice little snack, Mitch? We go to Blue Diamond. Blue Diamond almonds are the super nut that hits when hit you with a little protein punch to keep you going. There's 20 flavors that are available. They wrote here, honey roasted, wasabi and soy, smokehouse. Boys, that habanero barbecue for me. I like myself a little spice. It makes me feel extra nice. I like to have that. And it's a nice little treat. I have a little water on the side because them boys can get hot. But listen. This football season, you can win $10,000 grand prize or hundreds of other instant win prizes with Blue Diamond. Visit bdsweeps.com for a chance to win. There's no purchase necessary, and it ends November 30th, 2025. This is the last week of Spooktober. After this, boys, Bang, we're gone. Open to 50 US and DC, 18 plus. For rules, visit bdsweeps.com. Void where prohibited. Blue Diamond Almonds, the official snack of the Big Ten and football fans everywhere. Let's get back to the episode.
Guys, I'll be fully transparent. This is going to be a legitimate, full-on, old-school podcast for your boy, because I had a really good buddy of mine who had a wedding over the weekend, and it was out in Sleepy Hollow. Service was rough. The wedding was on Sunday. I didn't get to watch a lick of football. I got to follow some of the scores. I was involved in the wedding. I had to fly into LaGuardia, drive an hour and a half to get up to Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow was wonderful. I'm talking about, it is Halloween town. It was a good time. But as far as watching ball and coming correct on this podcast, this show today with Greg Olsen, it's more of like, I'm going to ask a few questions, sit and listen a little bit, maybe tell a couple jokes, because I didn't really get to watch. The only thing I see is it feels like it was Separation Sunday, because there were a lot of ass beatings.
A lot of ass beatings out there for sure.
Yeah.
Let's start with, so Greg called the Panthers-Bills game. The Panthers got absolutely blown out.
I saw that. Dude,
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to the Falcons?
Okay, that's a different team. They're drunk.
What happened? What happened with the Falcons?
They're unimaginative in the run game. They've gotten found out. They have not used Bijan Robinson the way they should. I know, Greg, we're not going to have massive takes on this thing, but like, if you got arguably the best running back in the NFL, maybe keep him in the game more consistently, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Week in and week out, the Falcons are probably one of the biggest anomalies in the NFL. I mean, I just got done studying the Bills because I had the Bills-Panthers game, and the last game the Bills played before their bye was against the Falcons, and the Falcons beat them. And they looked great. Bijan's running for long touchdowns, and they looked really good on defense, getting after Josh and sacking him a handful of times. And you're like, all right, Falcons are back. Falcons found it. Early in the year, they lost 30-0 against the Panthers, and then they beat the Bills. And it just seems like every week they just alternate.
Handled Washington, handled the Bills.
Handled Washington. Then you get beat by the
Niners. It was close. It was close though. They went out to San Fran. It was close, right?
Yeah, it was close. It was 20-10. But the run game was like non-existent in San Francisco when they played. Because Will, after the Falcons-Bills game, I saw the score. I didn't watch the whole game. There were other games on. So I was like, man, I wonder what happened there. And Will's like, buddy, this team, they're sticky in the secondary. Their defensive line standing up. Their run game is incredible. Penix, he's dishing the ball. They got Drake London. They got Pitts. He's coming back. So I'm like.
And they bullied the Bills.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to go watch this film. And you turn it on. And like, there's not a better team that one game that runs 11 personnel outside zone better than the Atlanta Falcons. You're like, oh, dude, these guys really have it figured out. Like, not a lot of motion, not a lot of like window dressing on their plays, but they're like, all the offensive linemen are getting to their spots. They're getting pushed on the front side. They're cutting off on the backside, and Bijan looks incredible. So I drink the Kool-Aid with him too, to where we're in the locker room the next week, and we're breaking down who's going to win, 49ers or the Falcons. And I'm kind of up in the air because Kyle Shanahan, to me, he's coach of the year candidate with all the injuries they've had and been able to still operate at extremely high level. Obviously, they dropped this week. And Will goes, don't overthink it. It's Falcons. I'm not saying that to throw shade because the Falcons end up losing that game. I'm saying I saw the film as well. I'm like, this team can be dominant. Yeah. And then these next 2 weeks happen. Yeah. And they play the Dolphins, who are like a walking, it's Spooktober. They're a zombie walking around. I'm thinking they're done. And wouldn't you know it, they dropped 38 on them?
When I checked the score one time, it was like 30-3 or something like that. I was like,
yeah, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even competitive. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know how you can be so good one week and so bad. I understand stubbing your toe once in a while, right? It's the NFL. You're going to have a bad game. You're going to have a bad outing. To be so back and forth, week in, week out, get blown out, look like the best team in the league, get blown out. It's almost hard to do. I don't even know how to wrap my head around it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, especially when you're Coach Morris and you're walking in, like, those vibes, like, we're all professionals. And it's like, how are we this wildly inconsistent?
Right. They're the number one team in the NFL that reminds me of a college football team when it comes to inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the boys went out last night. Like, what? Like, guys, you're paid professionals. Like, we can't have this big of a drop off.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I don't like, though. I don't like all the pistol.
Yeah, dude. Well,
I don't
Yeah.
like pistol zone. I like pistol counter. I like pistol pin and pull. Like, I think pistol is nice because if you are going to be primarily a gun team, which they are, especially with Penix. I didn't see much of the game yesterday. Did they change much with? I know with Cousins playing, I'm not sure, but prior they had been so pistol heavy, gun heavy, and I get why you don't want to just be single back run, offset back, and it gets very telling where you're going with your zone stuff. So I get the pistol idea. I don't think the angles are good. I don't think the play action is good. I don't think it has nearly the benefits that outside inside zone have from under center. I think that's a part of the issue in the NFL. I just don't think the angles front side. I think it gets really wide. It gets really strung out. Yeah. So, I mean, again, not to get into super football in the weeds, I just think being so exclusively pistol makes everything else a little bit of a challenge.
No, I agree with you. And Dan Orlovsky talks about this all the time. He's like, his big trend this year is we need to make football under center again. That's like kind of like what he wants. And
Yeah, everybody's doing it.
I completely agree with getting under the center, snapping the ball, because when the quarterback's back is turned, it obviously like it's going to help the play action pass so much more, which is what you need against these like super exotic defenses nowadays, is you need guys to kind of get up so these zone windows are more open behind them. And when you're in the pistol, it's a quick little turn to the side, and there's nothing like demonstrative about it to where it makes, and you could speak on this, Will, from a linebacker's perspective. If you're in the gun and he's just kind of turning and then goes into setup, it's like there's nothing giving you like, oh, I got to get down in that gap to stop the run. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you can transfer. You're able to transfer your eyes quicker, and you feel like play action and everything else. If you're under center and they're pressing the gap, you're going to take that extra step as a backer. To whereas in pistol, everything kind of unfolds a little bit quicker for you.
Yeah. So it just. But that being said, the Falcons, if I'm a betting man, which I am, I'm staying away from the Falcons the rest of the year. You just have no idea what you're going to get. Like if I'm going to go in the FanDuel Sportsbook app and I'm not even going to look at the Falcons logo anymore, it's terrifying. It's probably the scariest team to bet on. But the game we almost started talking about was the game you called. And I want you to break down Bills, Panthers a little bit. Short drive for you. That's where you played your career at. I'm sure like when you're calling these games, you're thinking, you know, you want to be as unbiased as possible. But there's probably a piece of you. It's like, man, I really hope Andy Dalton can step in for Bryce Young here and they can, you know, keep this home win streak alive. And the Bills come off this bye and just absolutely dominate all phases. James Cook has 215 yards on 19 carries and 2 touchdowns. Like the defense stood up in a big way. It was obviously an extremely dominant performance across the board in all 3 phases for the Bills. What was your biggest takeaways from those games?
Before you answer that, how the fuck did the Jets win? Always get that much closer to getting in the game.
Let's talk about Joe Flacco. Yeah.
What in the hell happened with Joe Flacco?
I think, you know,
we're going to stay focused here.
Yeah,
You're coming off the wedding.
Yeah.
You got a lot on your mind. Let's stay locked in.
Yeah.
Me and Taylor, we'll keep this on track. You just hang in there.
Hey, Rocky out there been hit the head a couple too many times.
You're wearing a rain jacket.
This is a Rocky Balboa. Robe. Thank you.
You know, so it's actually funny. So what we were just talking about with the under center stuff, when you watch Buffalo, the Buffalo we all remember of years ago of Josh Allen being in the gun and every ball being in his hand and it's drop back pass and they have made a pretty remarkable transformation to a heavy under center, run first, mix in play action, run dominant offense. And it's been very intentional. I don't think their outside weapons are like traditional X, they don't have like a traditional X receiver that's going to work, the deeper zones and go up. I think Keon Coleman, they're still trying to get him going. It's a lot of quick passes, a lot of run after catch. Khalil Shakir, guys trying to, Kincaid trying to get the ball in guys' hands and run after. But yesterday it was just all about the run game. I mean, James Cook was incredible. He had like 135 yards after contact before contact at halftime. I mean, he was 10, 15 yards into the teeth of what was a very good run defense in Carolina. He was 10, 12 yards into their defensive second level before he was even being touched. He broke a 40-something, 50-yard, I can't remember exactly how far it was in the first half. He was incredible. The offensive line was great. So it was funny. We're calling a game with Josh Allen and he's arguably the best player in the world, and of course the reigning MVP. And he made some good throws. He made a couple typical Josh Allen scramble drill, keep the play alive and get a conversion down. But like, he was a pretty non-factor, which I said at the end of the game, if I'm a Bills fan and I'm the Bills, I'm wildly encouraged by the fact that the best player in the league, potentially, if not the top 2 or 3, we were able to put up a 40 spot, be utterly dominant the entire game. And our best player had a much less impact than what we're accustomed to seeing. I think that's highly encouraging because we all know come the end of the year, come playoff time, there's going to be some Superman moments where it's going to be, all right, Josh, the days of just you lining up under center, handing it to James Cook, like, we need you to be Josh Allen. We need you to be the MVP, and we're going to let you go roll, design quarterback run, scramble, obviously pushing the ball downfield. Like, those days are coming. For them to be as good as they were offensively and now say, okay, that's not even with Josh Allen being Josh Allen, is – I think it's scary. I think that's the recipe they want to be in the regular season. I think that's the recipe they think gets them over the hump in the playoffs. Defense was much better, took the ball away 4 times, one down to like the 1 yard line. AJ Epinesa had an incredible tipped interception on a little tunnel screen, hit him in the hands, caught it, took it down to the 1 to set up a touchdown before the half. So it was a overall Buffalo dominant performance.
The whole Josh Allen's got to be great. That is coming, I'm assuming, in the next week, because they're going to have to play the Chiefs. I don't know if it's at the Chiefs or at the Bills, but the Chiefs play tonight on Monday Night Football. So I think they'll have to look at Josh Allen and be like, hey, now you have to be this reigning MVP, top 3 player in the NFL. But this is a Will Compton after the Atlanta Falcons game, which is a big brain move by him by getting us to talk about that game first. Is I asked him, I was like, hey, what do you think happened? He goes, bro, they got away from the run way too quick and just tried to make Josh do everything in that Falcons game. They go to the bye after that, and it seemed like they were in Will Compton's head where they're like, hey, let's run the ball till we can't type of situation, get under center and utilize the play action. So
especially if you got like the Bills question mark, like I know they're in the conversation, are they going to go pick up like a defensive player? Like they're pretty light in the ass at the second level.
Yeah.
Like when you see them against the Falcons or a good run team that gets you going sideways, that is where their weakness is. I love that they had takeaways, but an example of that too is you look at the Bears. The Bears were like number 1 in the league at takeaways, and then you go and play against a team who ends up taking care of the football that game. And when those weaknesses start to show itself, what fires me up about the Bills is if you're winning the football game, especially under center in the run game with James Cook, you're going to be able to control the clock more. You're going to be able to sustain drives longer. But if you do get in that shootout, if you do get in those high scoring matches against good offenses, that's where I get nervous because I feel like their front 7 has been a little questionable when it comes to stopping the run and everything else, because you can't just assume they're going to take the ball away. You know what I mean? Like you're if you're leaning on that, I know that's like, some momentum. Once you get hot, it starts to happen. You start taking the football away. But if you're just leaning on that, I feel like those weaknesses in late season football will start to rear its ugly head if they don't go and get somebody on defense, or if they just don't consistently eat week in and week out, start taking care of these things defensively where they have had question marks. So I'm fired up that they ran the ball a lot more with James Cook. I think this is an offense that you get going, and when they're not getting touched, they're getting into the second level of the defense. My only reminder and experience is the Tennessee Titans when Derrick Henry gets going and you run the football really well. And then when Josh Allen makes a play off of it, it's like, oh shit, they also have Josh Allen, the reigning MVP. But I know for me, not watching them defensively against the Panthers, for me, my whole question mark was, man, they don't seem like their defense is going to match the offense unless they're living under center and they can keep them kind of off the field.
Yeah, the impressive thing about the Bills defense in this game was not just the turnovers, but I mean, Panthers, their bread and butter is running duo, running gap scheme, double teaming the inside
Rico
guys,
Dowdle.
and getting into the meat of the secondary between both the tackles. And I thought they did a great job in that game. Like they did a good job of stuffing the run, making them pass, causing turnovers because of it.
Chiefs will be a great benchmark for them because Chiefs are playing fantastic.
They are playing great, and they obviously put a night.
One last thing to add, because what you guys are saying is the real teeth of the conversation that I think sometimes people ignore. The ability. So we'll just take Buffalo since we're obviously talking about them. Their ability to play run defense obviously has been a conversation. Going into that Panther game, the run defense was historically bad. They were giving up chunk plays at a record rate, giving up a lot of yards before and after contact, the tackling. Like that was everything Buffalo was talking about addressing at the bye week, right?
Yeah.
Going into the Panther game. But the part everyone has to realize is if you want to get better at run defense, just score a lot more points on offense, right? Like your ability to mask one side of the ball or the other is less about just improving that phase of your team and more about phasing the complementary piece on the other side of the ball. So if you're a team that really struggles running the ball, you got to make this a shootout. You've got to have an offense that can generate points, finish drives. And then, yes, if you get takeaways and that can also mask some of those issues. But all of a sudden you get into a slugfest and you get into a game where maybe you're not finishing, you're kicking a lot of field goals. Maybe your run game is going into a tough matchup up front and you just can't get anything going. That's where Josh Allen, that's where having the best player in the league now, they can untap that and say, all right, Josh, it's time now to put this game on your back, because we don't want to be in a 14-10 second half game when a team could just run the ball at us 30 times.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of the back and forth. That's the cat and mouse game. And that's why having ultimately Josh Allen as your quarterback, even if right now you want to be a heavy run team, there is going to be a time where Josh is going to have to take the game over, because they're not built defensively to play a 30 attempt run game in a low scoring battle. They have not shown that that's the strength. And Ed Oliver goes out to injury with a bicep yesterday, hoping it's not as bad as it looked. He did not return. So they're, little light up front, little light on the second and third level. I don't know if that's the type of game they want to they want to major in.
Yeah, the game coming up against the Chiefs is massive, because obviously when you win the division, you play the best teams in all the other divisions, and the Patriots, who they were fourth last year in the division, AFC East. I believe so.
Yeah.
Fourth, third, they were not great
they
last
still
year
have
at
the
all.
Jets.
They're in a 6-game winning streak right now. They just took arguably one of the best defenses in all of the NFL and put 32 on them. Drake May, 282, 3 touchdowns. So they have to get their ass going. Like there's no, if you want to win the division, you want to end this year with possibly a bye, you've got to win out, brother.
Yeah, because the Patriots are in a great spot, and I'm curious too to dive into all their second half statistics, because they seem like a team that's adjusted really well at halftime. Because I want to say, just checking the game,
sign of great coaching.
Yeah, it seemed like it was close going into halftime, and then obviously like Drake May, he's one of the best quarterbacks right now in the NFL, and the Patriots are just a team, and they have the schedule, like they could win. I feel like they are going to win the AFC East.
Yeah, their schedule definitely sets them up for sure. They have Drake May, perfect passing rating, over 20 yards.
Dude, he's balling.
He's balling out right now. And it did get hairy for a second. Like, the rookie, what's his name? Will Campbell. Will Campbell, he had himself a tough day against Myles Garrett. People said he gave up 5 sacks. He didn't give up all 5 sacks. When they were showing the highlights, there was a couple on the right tackle as well. I know that personally. That's something I want to defend for my boy Will Campbell.
Taylor sees 5 sacks in a game.
And I literally went back and watched all. I said it wasn't all Will Campbell. Okay. Also, Drake May got to get the ball out a couple of times there. But yeah, this team, you see Myles Garrett, he's frustrated. He gets 5 sacks in the game, and he's still slamming his helmet on the sideline because their team just cannot win games, even though he's being Superman out there. But these Patriots, dude, were you able to watch the game at all?
I saw some of the highlights. I saw some of the clips. I went back. I try to, after my game's over, if it's not in the late window and I'm home to watch the late window, I try to just go and just at least familiarize myself with, the matchups and who played well, and take a look at the box score and the highlights and try to get some context. I think the Myles Garrett thing is going to be a storyline all year. I think, you go back to that. I think he goes back to that decision in the summer where he made it pretty clear that he wanted to be out, that he wanted to go somewhere else. And then obviously they threw a ton of money at him and he signed up for it, right? You signed up knowing you had some questions at quarterback. You had some questions in a lot of different areas. The defense was going to be good. You knew that. But the reality is, in the regular season, offense is where you're going to win, right? Offense is going to drive it. And then defense will kind of tip the scales a little bit more once we just get all the bad teams out in the playoffs. And defense seems to have a lot more correlation to advancing in the playoffs than it does in the regular season. So he kind of knew what you signed up for. He is incredible. I think he's going to make a lot of offensive linemen look stupid. I don't think it's the young rookie from New England. I don't think it's unique to him. But they've got serious issues, especially offensively. They got a lot more questions than answers. But Drake May, I mean, he's in the MVP conversation, right?
Has
I
to
think
be.
what's so cool about this year is the MVP conversation through week 8 is really a bunch of, it's not the typical Josh Allen's and Mahomes, as good as they are. And maybe by the year end, they'll be the last one standing, but like Daniel Jones, Drake May. I think Jordan Love has been incredible. I mean, this next kind of crop of young quarterbacks is playing incredible ball through, call it, the first half of the season. I think that's what's made this season so fun to follow as just a football fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield as well. I mean, he didn't have the best
Baker,
stat
yeah,
line.
Baker.
The last 2 weeks have been okay.
Sammy Darnold.
Sammy Darnold, like
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a bunch of them.
It's funny
It's-
because like Mahomes, he's playing incredible. He'll be in the conversation.
Yeah.
But just taking that crop you listed, where it was like whether it's Baker Mayfield, Danny Dimes, Sam Darnold, Drake May, if those four, if their names were all these upper tier guys like the Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, if those guys are having the season that these young cats are having that we're naming, nobody else would be in the conversation. It would just be those 3 to 4 guys. But no matter what, we're always going to hang on to, even if Lamar pops off at the back half of the season, he'll still be in the conversation.
Yep.
Like, you'll still give these guys chances to be in the conversation, even though they're not having the season that these other guys are having.
right,
And talking about Lamar, as bad as things have looked for Baltimore,
buddy.
they're going to get Lamar back at some point, and obviously that changes everything. That win yesterday, now obviously only their second, but with the way that AFC North division is shaping up, it seems like Steelers can't run away with it. They haven't been able to run away with it. They lose last night to Green Bay. I think it seems like the world is coming to an end in Baltimore. They're 2 games back, and the idea being that you have to imagine Lamar is probably back this week, if not the following. So as bad as things have started, you have sometimes the benefit of being in a bad division. I've been there. I won a division one time in the NFC South that we went 7-8-1, and we won the division and hosted a playoff game. Like, sometimes the nature of the league is your division stinks and you have a little bit more margin for error. So I'm not completely out on Baltimore, even though things have looked really bad. And obviously Lamar's return is a big part of it.
Yeah, just going off of that game, I think this is a bigger win for the Ravens than people even realize, because what the Bears done so great is they played great defense, they get in takeaways, and they ran the ball incredibly well, where the Ravens have really struggled. To go back to that Lions game, those 2 running backs for the Lions were running all over the Ravens, and you get Roquan Smith back, you get Kyle Van Noy back, and their defense, I mean, Kyle Hamilton, dude, he is absolutely incredible. They were able to stop the run pretty consistently, and I heard a cool, not cool stat for Caleb Williams, but first quarter, the Bears are a plus 22 in their point differential, and Caleb Williams is throwing at 71%. Quarters 2 through 4, Caleb is like 51%.
Yeah. Was that
so? It just shows.
Was that our boy Coward?
That what you're popping on Coward as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems like when they're on script, Ben Johnson, his play calling is great. He does everything. He does everything the way he wants, but then his quarterback looks at the first or second read and then just wants to run for his life, when I think that Ben Johnson's like really not about that. But their defense has played really well. And for Tyler Huntley, for him to be 12 of 13 after the first half is awesome. So they keep getting healthy. The Steelers, they probably should have lost this game against the Packers. I think everybody thought that was going to happen, but the Bengals the week prior to that, it's like that's a wide open division right now between those 2 teams. And I think the Ravens come back and win it now. They had a chance to put it away with even that Bengals win.
The Bengals game,
Killed them.
losing to the Packers. I think the Packers are good. I think Jordan Love is good. I think that's a young team. They're super talented. Kraft was insane. I mean, he looked like the best player on the field. I got Green Bay this week. I go to Lambeau this week. I got them hosting the Panthers. So that we'll see how that goes. But
we know how that'll go.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one for the Panthers.
It's gonna be but yeah, that the for the Steelers, that game against Flacco and the Bengals, and Mike Tomlin called it. I mean, Mike Tomlin was like, I don't know what the Browns are thinking. They must be smarter than the rest of us, but they send a guy that was their week 1 starter to an in-division rival that is reeling at the position and giving them fresh life. And now the first game he beats the Steelers, and Tomlin looks like a genius. And then obviously they lose to the Jets, but he scored 38.
Yeah.
So he's definitely given the Bengals a little bit of life defensively. They're still struggle bus there in Cincinnati, though.
Dude, the Jets getting their first win. To me,
who would have thought they were going to score 39 points?
Right?
Yeah, and that's what sucks too, is because we've all kind of like said the Bengals defense is horrendous. But like it's kind of been masked, and the quarterback play has gotten a whole lot better, so it's kind of quieted down. But you lose to a Jets who's won 0 games. It tells me 2 things. 1, the Bengals are as bad as we thought they were on defense, and 2, we stay in Nashville, Tennessee. I think we're looking at the least competitive NFL football team in the NFL right now, and that is the Tennessee Titans because of it. And it sucks to say because that's where I played my career at, but we got a whole lot to figure out over there. Eagles. Yeah, we've all had some tough times.
Been there.
It makes the good times that much better. Eagles are back.
Dude, listen, Saquon, he's on my fantasy football team, seeing him put up north of 30 and seeing him, what did he have, like over 100 yards, a couple touchdowns? 150
and a touchdown on the ground, 1 through the air, 24 receiving as well. Hurt his groin. Jalen Hurts, he gets 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he threw 4 touchdowns,
right,
which was super efficient. I think Saquon popped off the second play of the game.
Yeah. And that has been a trend of theirs. If you pop on like the first series of every one of their games, like they run the ball very effectively. And then all
Saquon
of a sudden,
looks like he's going to have a game.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they like change their run game and it doesn't work out. I haven't gone back and watched the film. I just saw it live, but it seemed like they kind of stuck with the same type of run plan as they did in the first series, as opposed to going like to a bunch of different kind of run type of schemes, and it worked out well for them. Their offensive line obviously seemed like they played a whole lot better. Cam Scattaboo, R.I.P. the boy, dude. Like the heart and soul of the Giants. Like, we're not gonna be massive takes, but the Giants are dead. Like they're not. It's over for them.
Tough.
I saw the clip. I just saw the group chats firing up. I saw, Clump. He's like, Eagles are back. Saquon, yada yada. Then I see the Cam Scattaboo post, and it's like, dude, take my leg.
Right.
Take a limb from my body. Don't take Cam Scattaboo.
Did you see him put his hands up to his team, like to his buddy, like he like with the instinct of like, hey, help me up, and and everyone was like, nah, man, like we're gonna stay right where you are.
Yeah,
we're gonna get you your help. Like his instinct was like, I gotta get up.
Yeah,
he like put his hands up in the air for someone to like lift him off the ground, and I think his teammates were like, sorry, brother, but
there's
you're
always
gonna have to kind of.
Yeah, if you're seeing what I'm seeing, you're gonna have to.
There's always that one.
Was awful.
One
that
panicked
so
offensive
bad.
lineman that's like, "Please God, get him out of here," because it's all. Dude, when you see that, I'm sure you've seen it during a game when you were playing. It is a mentally torturous. I mean, you hate it for that who it happens to the guy, but the next 5 or 6 plays, if you're able to sustain a drive, is like. Everyone, even the defense, is like, hey, let's all kind of look out for each other a little bit. Isn't it weird? Like a weird little, like, we got to make sure everyone's good here.
Hey, we can really get fucked up in this game.
Yeah. We were playing the Dolphins.
And it doesn't matter if it's your teammate, the other team. Like, 100%. It's just, for a moment there, it doesn't matter what team it is. It's just everyone is having a collective, like, this is awful.
Right.
Yeah.
We were playing the Panthers, and it was late in the game. Y'all were blowing us out, and I was playing against Jared Allen, and one of the receivers went off in the corner of the sideline, had an ankle dislocation. Jared and I kind of sat there the next 3 plays. He's like, I'll tell you if someone's behind you. And I was like, bro, thank you. So we got hemmed up and there was one play we got hemmed up, and he kind of stonewalled me a little bit. He goes, behind you. And we kind of like shifted together for a little bit. It's like, that is really the mental thing for everybody after that. Is like, once you see everything, the health issues, it's crazy. Because good news is it looked like straight up just a dislocation, because it was right there at the bottom of that bone. It didn't look like his leg, like the middle of his leg was facing the wrong way. Yeah. But yeah, that's the heart and soul of the Giants. I think Dable saved his job for sure, seeing this boost of energy, and he should keep his job. But that was tough. The Eagles, however,
the Eagles are for real now.
They're for real.
Their ability offensively. I always thought defensively they'd find their way. I think Fangio's really good. I think they had some issues on the edge that they're still trying to work through. But I think defensively they were always going to end up being good and figuring it out. I know they had a couple games here and there. Obviously the Giants game being the one a couple weeks ago. But offensively, I saw them against Minnesota last week, and Hurts played probably the best game that we've seen him play in a really long time. I mean, he was pushing the ball downfield. He was accurate. He was buying time with his legs. Like, Saquon in the run game was a pretty non-factor against the Vikings, and Jalen Hurts was awesome. And now this week, Saquon gets off. He goes for 150, getting back to those early explosive runs for touchdowns that really powered their Super Bowl run last year, where he's running for 60 and 70-yard touchdowns. The defense is taking the ball away. And now you get Hurts in the passing game back going, throwing for 4. They're never going to be a consistently high volume passing game from a sense of like pure yardage. They'll pop off every now and then. Obviously, he did against Minnesota, but 4 touchdowns. I don't even think he threw for – did he throw for over 200 yards? I don't think he did.
No, he threw for 179.
Yeah,
15
so like
for 20,
efficient,
179.
but obviously you get Saquon. They've always been, I've always said, they're the hardest beat in the league because they can just beat you in so many different ways. Defensively, they can take the ball away. They've got 4th down. They can pass, throw, skill, roster. Like, I don't know why people are so quick to jump off their bandwagon. It seems like every year. And then it's just by the end of the year, they're the team to beat in the NFC for all those different factors.
You think they're the team to beat in the NFC? Because I feel you. Like Eagles, to me, I'm not willing to say, I'm not convinced enough to say that they're back, that they're the team to beat.
Who's the team to beat in the NFC in your mind?
I think it's the Lions.
Lions.
Yeah.
I think the Lions are playing good football. You got the Lions, you got the Packers. You know, Tampa.
See, I'm not sold on the Packers. I'm not.
I like the Packers. I think they're
Seattle,
young. I think they're talented.
the Rams.
I think. Yeah, I had the Rams Philly game week. I don't know, God, I can't remember now. Like week 2 or 3. It was early in the year.
Yeah.
And
where Philly
the Rams
ended up getting those
dominated
blocks.
the first half of the game. They couldn't score a touchdown. It was a red zone field goal contest. And then Jalen Hurts came to life in the second half with A.J. Brown, and they came back and won. And that's when Jordan Davis blocked that field goal and took it back as the not a walk-off, but like the last play of the game
Saved
to kind
the
of
game.
seal it. Yeah, I think all those teams are good. I think the Philly just has that pedigree right now, right? They're used to winning. They're used to winning those close games. They can play a lot of different formulas. If their offense isn't great, they can get picked up defensively. If Jalen's having a bad day, Saquon. If Saquon can't get rolling, they got the receivers. And like the offensive line, can they stay healthy and get healthy? And now Dickerson, like they got, I think, the best tackle combo in the league. Taylor, I'd love your perspective. Like I think Lane and Mailata are the best combination to duo in the league. Like they just got so many different things they can hang their hat on. They don't have to play perfectly to win. I think we've seen that over the last 2 years. Those teams seem to do well in those win or you're out kind of situations. They're not best of 5 series. You got to win one game, and they're really tough to beat.
Yeah, when it comes to the tackles, I haven't been able to watch and break down this film just yet, so I'll save my opinion on this past game. But the couple weeks prior to that, with the offensive line, when it came to the run game, it was like one guy here or there. And especially during the Vikings, like Mailata had himself a couple of times being at the point of the run game. He was having a very difficult time, guys going inside, moving around. Like he wasn't moving his feet very consistently. And then laying on the backside of a lot of plays, he wasn't getting that cutoff the way you usually see him. He had to go get savvy, get a couple of those reach around blocks. A duo to me right now that is like number 1 in the NFL is Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker. And that's kind of what keeps me leaning towards the Lions. Is they had a tough game a couple weeks ago against the Chiefs. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago. But from a defensive standpoint, no, it was a couple weeks ago because they played the Buccaneers, right? Last week. Played the Bucs, and they had every single guy in their defensive secondary. Their starters were out, and their secondary played, and they pretty much shut down Baker Mayfield and their offense and their wide receivers. And I just think something about that under center, Jared Goff throwing on time, play action pass, like with both those running backs, that team to me, along with their culture, when things don't go their way, they don't waver. That is a team that I can see winning it all, or at the very least winning the NFC and making it to the Super Bowl this year. When it comes to the Eagles, it's like you see it here and there. Like, okay, the run game wasn't great, but the defense stepped up. Jalen Hurts has a game a couple weeks ago, and this is the first week I've seen it where it's like, okay, this looks like a championship caliber team. Now we have to see it more consistently for it all to get done. But it just seems like 1 or 2 things here and there. I think after seeing this game
Lions
this week,
got the run game. They got the play calling. They got a quarterback that can win you the Super Bowl. They can take you through the air, on the ground. Their defense is very salty. Their front 7, Hutchinson and them will just get after your ass. Does Hutchinson lead the league in in pressures?
I think I think Garrett leads the league in pressure, or Benito leads the league in pressures. Hutchinson has had a sack and a pressure in every single game this
Dude,
year.
he gets after people.
Or the
Just-
last
it's just
five
the
games.
backs, like the way the
sick.
D coordinator Kelvin Shepard has those guys playing, especially when you have a full backup squad in there
Right.
in the secondary. I just feel like they are the more complete team that looks like an operation and a machine. They did drop against the Chiefs, but that game the Chiefs had against the Lions, like that was potentially a preview of the Super Bowl. Like that was a
Let me
heavyweight. That was a
Let
heavyweight.
me ask you
bout.
this though, right? And I agree with everything you guys are saying. It's probably fair. I wouldn't disagree. If they ended up winning the NFC and going to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be shocked. Here's what I will say though. You start looking at, okay, I know it's early. We're doing like the whole playoff projection thing, but do you think it's a foregone conclusion that the Detroit Lions win the division?
I know where you're going with this, and the answer is no, because the Packers are still in that
Do
division.
you think it's a foregone conclusion? Can you see a scenario that
Eagles?
the Eagles don't win the NFC East?
No.
Correct. I see. Yeah.
So,
So you're saying
Again, now
saying that
talking about
Detroit
who's on
could
the
be
road
going.
and who's
Yeah.
home, and I think that's all. The best teams don't always make the biggest runs, right? Like there's so many factors. There's luck. We just got done talking about how your division can stink, or last year the Minnesota Vikings win 14 games and they got to go. They're not even the division winner. They're a wild card team because the division was so good. Like there's a lot of factors that go into all of this, and that literally could be the deciding factor. Detroit could be better than Philly, but all of a sudden that game's in Philly and it's cold and it's the home field advantage and it's 1 of 1. You don't get to play a home and away series. It's not baseball, right? Like you're not getting, no, don't worry, we'll get to their place and then we get to come back home to Detroit in the Dome. Like that's sometimes the luck of the draw. So I think there's a lot of factors on how it all plays out. But yeah, you're probably right. Those are probably the two clear-cut, maybe not clear-cut, but those are probably the two leaders in the clubhouse. I still think the Rams are really good.
Yeah.
I think defensively they're nasty. I think Stafford's awesome. They got to get Puka back. Outside of that, I think there's a lot of one-dimensional NFC teams that have different areas that they're good, but just don't have the whole package to see them right now making a big run.
Right. Okay, but hold on. What about Seattle? What about Tampa? Like those are two teams to me.
I just fear that Tampa's lost too much juice.
I do too. I agree with you. I agree with you. Like I think Baker's playing
been
awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Weather in the storm has been incredible. I just think at some point you can only weather losing. So we saw it happen to Detroit last year, right? It was like, oh man, Detroit can lose anyone and they just keep playing. They're so good on defense. Well,
Right.
at some point, as good of a coach as Todd Bowles is, as good of a coach as Dan Campbell was last year, and Aaron Glenn, the D coordinator, trying to figure out ways to play without their best players. Like the NFL, man, when the playoffs come and all the bad teams have been sent home and we're only left with the top dogs, eventually it catches up to you. That's what concerns me about Tampa.
That's a extremely fair
Good
point.
news for Tampa though is they're in a division that's you got the Saints,
Yeah.
you got the Falcons.
They're
you
going to
got
be
the
in the
Panthers.
playoffs.
They'll be in the playoffs.
Their division is brutal.
Yeah,
But you're right.
I agree
When
with
it
you,
gets to the cream of the crop, like all the bad teams have had now, they're all in Cabo San Lucas or Cancun for the week. These teams, like Tampa's probably going to have to go to these cold weather places during the playoffs. And can they stand up? Can they keep this level of consistency with Baker for the whole entire year? So yeah, it's a great point. Seattle though,
I think
that
Seattle's really
defense
good.
now. I think they're solid.
Yeah.
The run
McDonald,
game,
their
their run
defense is-
game's solid. I wish Kenneth Walker would be more north and south guy. I can't stand the east and west movement. That
He's a
stuff-
bouncer.
He's a bouncer, and it's awesome because it's home run hitting. But also, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. There's a lot more TFLs income than home runs. So
Yeah.
baseball.
I like Seattle a lot. I had them early in the year. They were still trying, Kubiak, the new OC. They were trying to get. I actually had them week 1. I had them week 1 against San Francisco. Sometimes all these games like blend together. I can't remember who I call, when, where. But yeah, I had them week 1. So obviously first game of Darnold, first game of Kubiak. I like McDonald. I like the head coach. That's a tough place. I mean, we've all played there. That is a nightmare place to play on the road, let alone in a playoff game. So can they win the NFC West?
Right. Similar situation
seems-
with Lions, Packers, like Rams and Seattle is going to be fighting there to the end.
And also,
They're going to be fighting.
the
It seems like a
49ers
two-man race.
too.
Yeah.
Niners. Again, I think
Injuries.
Shanahan and Robert Saleh have done a remarkable job. It might be the best coaching job of Shanahan's career, and Robert Saleh is going to probably get a head job again because of what he's done. But you can only weather losing these guys for so long. Like, you're not getting Fred back.
Yeah.
He's arguably one of the best. Like, you're not getting him back. Hopefully they get Purdy back, and they finally got Kittle back after missing the first 5 games. And like, it's just the injuries in San Francisco. You just scratch your head and say, like, how long can you weather this? And can you get enough of these guys back early enough that you're still in contention, that even if Seattle and the Rams run away with the division, but like, can you stay afloat? Can you get 3 teams from one division in the playoffs? We've seen it. It happens, but you got to get your guys back before you're in the final stretch of the season.
No, yeah, it's a good point. We're definitely getting to the point of the season where all the fun storylines of injured teams that are still rallying through, it seems like that might be coming to an end at this point. Like, you're right. You are absolutely right when you say you can only do it for so long.
And again, a lot of the teams that seem like they're weathering the storm and the teams that don't handle injury loss as well, some of it's internal, right? Some of it's just roster depth, roster construction, the ability of a play caller to mask injuries to O-line or, whatever it is. But there's also an element of like, can you get lucky in the game that you don't have your starting quarterback, or you don't have your starting left tackle, or you lose your Mike Backer for 2 weeks, and you play into a stretch of games against a bunch of teams that just aren't very good.
Yeah.
Right. So and some teams you're like, all right, I just lost my 3 best players, and now I got to go play the Chiefs. And now I got to go play the Bills, and you got to go play some of these, high level teams. So there's so much luck and randomness to the NFL. I think that's what makes it so fun. Some years your schedule's incredibly difficult, and other years your schedule's really easy. I think that's why the regular season, I don't always think, is the greatest predictor of playoff success, because as we've said now, like, when all the bad teams get sent home, typically everybody in the playoffs has a good offense. You're not in the playoffs if you're not scoring points. And then the defense now becomes the X factor of what now is the next differentiator between advancing or just being happy that you made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then late October too, like, we're getting into November football. Like, teams are going to start hitting their stride a little bit and seeing what their identity is rolling into the playoffs. Because again, it's like, you look at all these scores over the weekend, like, pretty one-sided.
Right. Yeah, it honestly is a perfect transition to the Denver Broncos and the Cowboys, because the Broncos defense is incredible. Bo Nix just getting better. They started slow in this game, but it ended up being their best first quarter they've had. Buddy, I feel like I transferred high schools, and I see the pretty girl, the hot cheerleader, and the hot cheerleader is the Dallas Cowboys, and I see them, they look kind of nice, and everyone's like, you got to watch out for her. Rumor has it she's a little bit like the town bicycle a little bit. And I'm like, no, dude, this one seems a little different. So I go on a date with said girl this week.
Sounds like she's turning a page.
Yeah, it sounds like she's turning a page. Like, there's maturity involved.
She's going to be different with me.
Yeah, with me. I go and I hitch my name to the wagon of Cowboys fandom for 1 week. And I literally got there. I got on the bird yesterday, and I sat there and I was like, my heart goes out to all you Cowboy fans who got to feel this like life of luxury in the 90s and 80s or whenever it was. And now for the last 25 years, you've had to deal with this, because I walked into that Broncos game, haven't won there since 1996, all those things. And I'm like, defense looked really good against Commanders. This is the number 1 scoring offense in the entire league. Like, maybe we're flipping the script. Maybe I'm buying this stock low. Who would have known it was a 2008 market crash, because it was horrendous. I bought it high.
When you say jumped on the bandwagon, you mean you put some action on it?
No, I actually didn't. I actually did not.
I just want to make sure.
No, I jumped in the bandwagon publicly. I was publicly being like, the Cowboys can really get this.
Yeah,
done
on all
this
the
week.
shows, Taylor was heavy. Taylor was like, you know what? I'm buying the Cowboys.
I'm buying the Cowboys. Dude,
Got it.
Schottenheimer, his play calling on offense, the run game, I think he's number 2 in the league in rushing. You got Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. It's like, how are you stopping them? Fun fact, the Broncos knew exactly how to stop them. Like, it was extreme. It was, man, bro, it was so impressive to see. And the first drive, Bo Nix throws a pick. And I'm thinking, I did it. I finally cracked the code on how this works. I'm the man. Tweet out, maybe I was right, type of thing. We go down, they get 3, score.
Freezing cold takes then just wears you out.
Oh, and you're looking at it and you're just like, why did I tweet this, dude? It was brutal. But yeah.
Yeah, and again, obviously the week prior, Denver has the getting blown out 19-0, and they score 33 in the fourth against the Giants, and that game was obviously hotly debated about end of game strategy and the clock and whatever. But like, I don't know if anyone came out of that Denver game against the Giants saying like, oh man, these guys are they had an incredible comeback. It almost felt more of like a Giants meltdown than it did. Again, you score 33 in the fourth, you deserve a lot of credit. But like, the Giants certainly didn't help themselves closing that game in the fourth quarter with some of the things they did on both sides of the ball. The problem with Dallas, and we cover a ton of Dallas games, is like, and I know their offense wasn't great yesterday, and partly was the Broncos defense, but their offense week in and week out, especially now with CD back going with Pickens, like that offense can light you up for 30 in a minute. Like they have been putting 30 on people. They've been scoring. Dak's been really good. They're historically bad on defense. And I think at some point for a play caller who's also the head coach, and you're trying to match sides of the ball and you're trying to come up with a script for the week to say, okay, how are we going to win this game? When you have to go into every game and you just have to assume it's going to take 30 to win, it is filtered into every decision that you make, and from every first down play call to every, it is so hard mentally to go into the game and say, every time we kick a field goal and every time if we have to punt or God forbid Dak throws an interception, the game's probably over. Like that is really, really challenging.
That's
so
terrifying.
Until Dallas can figure out how to keep people from scoring 1 million points, I think that's going to weigh down the Dallas offense. For as good as they are, it's virtually impossible over long periods of time to operate in that headspace where if we don't score on every possession, we're going to lose.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
yeah. I mean, that is well said.
And I know we're playing Monday quarterback, but it's like you saying that, I'm thinking to myself, how did I not see that the entire time?
No, I've been high. I know the last couple of weeks maybe he's cooled off, but I think I said I can't remember what show I said it on, but like people are like, all right, who do you think's in the MVP conversation through week 5? You know, all this stuff that me and you talk that we don't love doing, but I got asked. And, you mentioned, the usual suspects and then kind of this new cast of guys we touched on with Drake May and Daniel Jones and whatnot. But I'm like, hey, Dak's playing as good a quarterback as anybody in the league. The problem is at the time, I think they only had 1 or 2 wins. His defense is historically bad, but as far as just playing the most important position at a high level, Dak is in that conversation. So I've been high on Dallas for years because I've seen the potential there offensively when Dak's in the game. It's just they can't seem to recapture any of the magic they had on defense. And you don't have to be a killer defensively to be good in the regular season in today's NFL, especially if your offense is scoring 30. You just can't be the worst. And that's, they just need to somehow get to like middle of the road with a top 5 offense. You're going to win a lot of games in the NFL.
You're absolutely right. If you can just tag the Cowboys defense with the word mediocre.
Yeah, just be average.
Right. Yep. Then they would be contenders.
Even just
now, you're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but even maybe below average.
Yeah,
just not the worst.
You could actually be the worst, just not historically the worst. Yeah. Like you could even take on the title of they're 32nd. But they're not historically bad.
In points per game, because I haven't had Dallas in the last couple of weeks. In points per game, Dallas was like 2 within a couple of weeks. So where are they now as the dust settled through this past weekend's game? Can your guys look that up fast?
The Cowboys are scoring 31, just over 31 points per game. The Cowboys,
which is what?
I think it was 1. I think it was 1. I think they were number 1.
So they're 1, and defensively, I want to say they're 31st or 32nd.
They're 32nd, and they're giving up like 32 or 33 a game. Like
right now, here's where they stand. They are 3rd in the league with 30.5 points per game. 31st in the league defensively, giving up 31.3 points per game.
So even on average, they're giving up.
What's the 20th? What's the 20th best defense in points per game? Will, what's 20th?
20th.
How many points?
Let me see here.
Go ahead.
Give me a second because I was clicking on the team.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was like a list and you could just see like the difference between 31st and 20th.
Like, yeah, just be bottom half.
That's my point. Like, you don't even need to be, you're scoring 31 a game,
And
30 and a half a game.
And I'm so curious. Like,
25th is Chicago. 26.
At how many?
26.4.
Yeah,
Hey,
26.
You score 31, you can win 31-26. The math works.
The math's there.
Yeah.
This is not a question for you to answer because it's like puts you in a position, but this is me being curious that maybe people can comment on. Like, what is the problem there with the Cowboys defense? Is it Eberflus and his play calling, or is it he doesn't have the horses? I know they've got a couple of injuries, but there's no way Micah Parsons changes the defense that much. There's no way.
No, they're still toward the bottom, I feel like, last year.
Yeah, they
Pretty
weren't
much every
great
category.
last year.
All right, so
It's a mix of both things.
This is just my observation. So people can take it what they want, but I'm happy to ask the question because I actually think it's bigger than just this sample size of, what have they played? 7 games, 8 games, whatever it is. You go back to the 2023 season when they obviously get upset at home. They have an incredible season. Dak's a potential MVP. Micah Parsons, defensive player of the year type. Like that 23 season that came to a screeching halt. They get upset against Green Bay at home in the playoffs. You go back to that team and you say, okay, what made them so good? Obviously, Dan Quinn's the defensive coordinator. You're scoring 30 a game. Mike McCarthy, Dak's playing out of his mind. CD, you're really good offensively. So how did they build that defense? They've got Deron Bland getting record-setting pick sixes. They got Trayvon Diggs, record-setting interceptions, ball hawk.
Yep.
They've got Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence and Oso Digizua, and they've got light bodies that rush the passer. They play a lot of man coverage, sticky coverage, and they're playing with a lead for so much of the game that you might get me here and there. Diggs gives up a long completion. Bland gets beat. Their run defense was always crappy, but it didn't matter because they're scoring a million points. That they built the defense with Dan Quinn to defend the pass and defend the lead. So all of a sudden, at the end of the game, Micah Parsons strip, sack, fumble, game's over. Bland and Diggs pick 6, game's over. That was what they bought into, and that formula works. They paid Bland a bazillion dollars. They paid Diggs $1 bazillion. Now you look over last year. They're injured. They're not playing, right? They lose Micah for a part of the season, and then he comes back. Then they lose Dak. And all of a sudden, this pass defending, man coverage, pass rush that they had built to complement this high-scoring offense, the offense goes to the bottom of the league. They struggle. They can't score. They turn into a very ball control running back. Rico Dowdle, who's now having a career year in Carolina, he becomes a 1,000-yard rusher in Dallas because they just have to lean into the run game to just stay remotely competitive. But as we said earlier, all of a sudden that style now of low-scoring bloodbaths doesn't match what we do well on defense, right? So everyone gets fired and they start all over. I don't think they've now, from a personnel standpoint, DeMarcus Lawrence, gone. Micah Parsons, gone. Diggs and Bland aren't pick sixing guys 5-6 times a year. They're not having an interception per game. They're not getting all the splash negatives that they really made a living on, even though now their offense is back to that. So it's really been like a 2.5-3 year journey of when they had both sides of the ball matched. Man, they were as good as anybody in the league. They lose to Green Bay in the playoffs. All hell breaks loose. Last year's a dumpster fire of injuries. They fire Mike McCarthy, and now they're trying to kind of start back over. They haven't been able to use any of the draft picks they got for Micah. So those trades, with the exception of Kenny Clark.
Yeah, Clark.
You lost Micah. You haven't gotten the future picks yet, and I just don't think they have the defensive roster to be that good.
Well said.
That was honestly a great breakdown.
Yeah.
That's 2.5 years as short. I'm a long-winded guy. That's 2.5 years of watching them. That's as quick as I can make it. I'm sorry.
Dude, I mean,
as far as seeing the entire field and understanding what your offense does to teams, here's how we're going to have to build the defense. Here's the philosophy that goes with this defense. Takeaways, pass rush, the scheme that kind of goes with those guys, how it's kind of fallen apart over the last couple of years. Guys have been injured when, it's like even Diggs was out for a little bit last year as well. No, those are great
Yeah,
points.
yeah.
I do think it's a massive combination of a lot of it, and it's not. Unfortunately, it's not going to get better this year.
No, it's not going to get better this year, and it really reminds you of a Peyton Manning's Colts run team, where you play on the turf. You got two edge rushers that can rush the passer. The team is built to play from a lead, and when you don't have those key pieces, you don't have the lead. Therefore, your team is in a precarious spot. So yeah, no, that was a fantastic breakdown, and it also goes to show how short-sighted we can all be as the viewer of seeing like game by game basis, or even just like this year sample size, and taking it as like, this is the reason why. A lot of times you have to pull back the curtain a little bit, see a couple of years back and be like, this is how we got here. How do we get back to there? And so, yeah, it was a fantastic breakdown, Greg. We good?
I appreciate it. My assumption would be, if you're Dallas, all these picks that you have coming up, you just double, quadruple, triple, quintuple, whatever, all them, and you just go defense, 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 defense. They've got all those first-round picks on the offensive line.
Yep.
They got to figure out how they're going to re-sign George Pickens. I think that could be a tricky situation when that time comes, because obviously he's not yet on that big deal when they traded for him from Pittsburgh. But I think offensively, I think from a personnel standpoint, they're in really good shape. Ferguson, I think they like their backs. I think it's dump every resource in the draft. If you have a couple bucks left over in free agency, like, it needs to be defense, defense, defense. And if you hit on those draft picks over the next 2 years, you got a shot. The question is, it just puts a ton of pressure. You got to hit on those picks.
Yeah, you got to hit those picks, and you got to keep CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and Dak Prescott young. And it's like, who are those
Nobody
players?
beats Father Time.
No one beats Father Time. Hey, we're going to have to let you go. Give a great round of applause. We got Mike Elko coming on next year.
Greg, next week, I would love to do a deep dive into the philosophy of how, like, the running game, 12, 13 personnel, how it's making such a surge, quarterback under center, because like a decade ago, when teams were like in 12 personnel, they're kind of utilizing 11 looks, how teams, you have to decide if you're going to go base or, hey, you know what, we're going to call this game nickel philosophically on defense, to where now it's like those big bodies and the way the game is changing kind of back in a circle. I would love to do a deep dive and break that down next week.
I would love nothing more than to do that with you. I'll come with some thoughts and some ideas. I love those conversations. Done.
Okay, perfect. You're the man, Greg. Thank you very much.
Coach Elko, man, what's up?
Hey guys, how are you?
You see him on the screen?
I'm leaving. I'm Greg Olsen, by the way. I was
hey Greg, how are you? Yeah,
Good to see you, Coach.
From the Jersey roots.
I know exactly who.
Yeah.
You recruited at my dad's school, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Remind me where you were when you recruited. I knew you recruited North Jersey because my dad's told me. Where were you when you were recruiting Wayne Hills?
I was at a bunch of schools that you won't remember. Fordham, Hofstra.
Yeah, of course.
When I was down at the University of Richmond, we were up there a little bit. Yeah.
Wayne Hills.
Yep.
Look at
my
this.
dad tells me every time he sees you guys on national TV, my dad reminds me that. He's like, hey, he's been a hell of a coach now for a long time. He used to sit in my office 10, 15 years ago. I was like, I know, Dad. You tell me every Saturday.
Every Saturday. That's how they go.
I'm going to leave.
Together.
Good luck, Coach.
Yeah,
good luck. You guys have been awesome, man. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Greg.
Yeah. Thanks, Later. Greg.
See you, brother. That's awesome.
That's what happens when you get two Jersey guys on a show together.
Yeah, I could have sat back here and just watched you guys talk for the next 15. We could have took all the time just listening to you guys break down Jersey football.
You can feel Greg's dad, Mr. Olsen, just being, hey, that's a hell of a ball coach. He used to sit in my office.
And it's like the first time you're like, that's pretty damn cool. Coach Elko used to sit in your office. And then after it's like week 7, it's the 8th time he said it. And it's like, Dad, I know he's the man. I got it. Coach, let's give Coach Elko a round of applause for being on the bus, taking time out of his day. Just got back from putting an ass beating on Baton Rouge, Louisiana, LSU. We can say that, Coach. I'm sure you would not say that. I'm sure you're going to say.
Oh, I appreciate it coming from you guys, though. It sounds good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Hard fought game. Guys ended up pulling away in that second half. Your quarterback right now. Let's talk about this cat, Marcel Reed. He's 4th in the Heisman running. I'm sure, as any coach would be, you're ignoring that type of noise. So I'm just going to ask you about this quarterback and be like, what is about him, Reed, that makes him so great right now for you?
Yeah, I think he's really taken the next step this year in terms of his ability to beat people both ways. And I think that was the big challenge that he had coming out of last year. He's a phenomenal athlete. I think you saw that Saturday night. What he can do when the play breaks down, what he can do improvising is at an elite level. I think what he's done is he's transitioned himself to where he can also beat you in the pocket throwing the football now. And I think his ability to do both really puts stress on a defense. And I think that's been a huge part of the offensive success this year is we're multidimensional. We have a lot of different ways that we can attack people.
Coach, can you remind me who is number 5 on your team defensively? Number 5, the dude that was barking at the entire offensive line. Was it number 5? It might have been a different number.
Oh, no, number 9.
Number
Cassius
9.
Howell.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was going to say, you had me puzzled for a second.
Yeah,
but
that is my fault.
Yeah.
That is my fault. I was scrolling. I saw a clip. I saw this dude barking at basically the entire offensive line at LSU. What type of juice do you feel like that brings to a squad? And again, Greg was on and I was kind of telling the boys, I'm kind of going at the seat of my pants right now. A friend of mine had a wedding over the weekend. Absolutely selfish decision on his part. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of ball. But when I'm watching that clip, like obviously you're trying to reel it in and everything else, but internally, and when you're in the locker room and even watching this stuff after the game, what kind of juice does that bring to a team when you're putting an ass whooping on somebody?
No, I think that's the line you want your team to walk. You play in the SEC, you go into some of these environments at night. You can't be timid. You can't be just kind of, we're just going to toe the line. Like you have to be on an edge. You got to be willing to play on an edge and you got to be willing to do things sometimes to give yourselves an edge and an opportunity. And so that's what we want to do. That's how we want to go about it. And obviously that was a really, really big game for us and the kids were fired up.
One of the big news stories after this weekend, after your game against LSU, is Brian Kelly was relieved of his duties as the head coach of the LSU Tigers. It's such an interesting situation that you're in because you're the last coach to play him, you're the last coach to beat him, but at one point in time, he hired you as the DC for Notre Dame, and so you can be as long-winded as you want in this situation, but what is your relationship like with Brian Kelly, that game, how it unfolded? I know that a lot of LSU Tigers fans were chanting, and I'm sure you guys have established some sort of relationship since you guys have parted ways, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. And I just kind of want to hear your thoughts about, your relationship with him and then how that game unfolded as they were chanting "Fire Kelly."
Yeah, obviously I have a ton of respect for Brian. Brian's the guy that gave me my first opportunity to kind of get on the big stage at Notre Dame. And at that point, I was a defensive coordinator at Wake Forest, and he was really the first guy to give me that chance. And so I have a ton of respect for him. We've got a great professional relationship, a lot of mutual respect for each other. You never want to see that for anybody. You certainly don't want to see that to a guy who has helped you in your career at some point and the guy that you respect. And so I think it's a lot of things. I think one, I appreciate him and appreciate everything he did for me and my family, but also it's probably a quick notice to where this profession is. I saw this the other day. I think 3 of the top 15 teams in the preseason AP poll have already fired their coach at week 8. And so this is a week-to-week business more now than it's ever been. And you got to keep your head down. You got to keep grinding.
I was going to say, you got to just keep your head down and just roll because
bullets are flying everywhere. There's barbed wire over your head, and Elko's just out there front of the pack, 8-0, just crawling away, being like, I can get got at any moment.
But still trying really hard to not catch any strays as you're going
No doubt. Yeah. It's got to be a terrifying position. You got your buddy to your left and your right getting shot down. You're like, I got to keep this thing going here.
Yeah, no doubt. The buyouts that are, everybody posting about the buyouts that are happening. It's like, hey, college football, these teams want to fucking win, and nobody is safe. Talk about your relationship with Trev Alberts. Obviously, he's a friend of the show. I've had him on this podcast before. He was a Nebraska guy and a linebacker that I admired going through that university. What's your relationship been like with him? Because he did a great job. Your guys' staff, everybody did a phenomenal job hosting us last year when we came out to the game. I believe it was against Notre Dame. Yeah. But just talk about that relationship with Coach Alberts, Trev Alberts, and fluff up the
I think
boy.
It's a great partnership. I think when you're the head football coach, what you would love to have is an AD who's a former All-American and a first-round draft pick, who kind of understands football through the lens of a football player. I think that's a really, really good starting point. I think there's a lot of similarities in how he believes a program should run and how I believe a program should run. And then I think we both believe in what Texas A&M is capable of. And so it's been a really good partnership. I've really enjoyed getting to spend time with him, getting to know him. And, again, as we try to build this place into, what everybody on the outside thinks it's capable of being, it's good to be able to do that with somebody who knows football the way Trev does. And so it's been really good.
Culture-wise and standard-wise, how do you feel like this mentality has shifted? Because I know just externally watching it from afar, watching A&M fans from afar, you guys historically have been known as like, the 3-loss team that eventually comes. I feel like everybody's kind of, clutching their pearls every week now since you guys are undefeated and at the top of the SEC. How do you feel like that mentality and culture has shifted now being in your second year as the head coach for A&M?
Yeah, I just think what we did was we tried to instill a little bit more of a blue collar work ethic into this place. And I think, one of the challenges when you have a place that has a lot of really nice things is entitlement starts to creep in and all of a sudden you start expecting things to happen for you and you really don't go out and work to make them happen for you. And I think that's kind of been our mentality since day one is we want to make sure that in those times of the year when no one's paying attention to us, that we're outworking people, that we're doing things the way they need to be done so that, when we get into the fourth quarter in Arkansas and things aren't going the way we want them to go, we can find a way. When we get into the fourth quarter at Notre Dame and we're down, we can find a way. And when we come out in the second half at LSU, we can run away with the game. Like all of that stuff gets formed with those things that you're doing throughout the year. And I just think we focused a lot more on that than we have about, pounding our chest about, our facilities or how nice this place is or those types of things. And I think maybe that's flipped a little bit how we see things and how we think about them.
You're 8-0 right now. You're standing atop of the SEC.
Keep saying that like you're trying to jinx it. Like I'm pitching a no-hitter.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Say it enough.
Yeah, you're right.
This guy's gonna get a hit.
Let me try to rephrase it. You've lost 0 times this year. So we don't jinx it, and so the head coach, the pitcher, can continue to throw his no-hitter. What are the messages taking place in your building right now? Because like Will said, we've been to your campus. People say it's very much cult-like when it comes to your fan base. I tend to agree with that, and I mean it as a compliment. Like the midnight yells, all that, like it is. You watch it, and if you're a hater of Texas A&M, you're like, this stuff is a little bit crazy. But as a Michigan guy, like I would love it if my fan base got together at midnight in Michigan Stadium and like went over what kind of chants we're going to do. So obviously, like the expectation is just grown and grown and grown and grown. Where pearls are maybe no longer being clutched from the outside. They're now like, hey, maybe we can do it. Like we had a hard time at LSU, but now we don't have a hard time at LSU more. How are you keeping those boys focused going into these last 3 games of the year?
Yeah, first of all, we use the term passionate. That's what our fan base is.
Passionate. Yeah.
When you talk about passionate fan bases like they are at a lot of places around the country, they have high expectations and expectations grow every time you win a football game. And that's just the nature of college football today. And I think the biggest thing that we talk about internally is one, how much the noise can impact you. I mean, that's a year-round conversation to avoid the noise for the good, for the bad. No matter what, you're going to be on a seesaw, and so you go out and lose a game and you're going to be the worst team in the history of Texas A&M. You go out and win a game and you're going to be the best team. And that's just how this stuff goes nowadays. And so a lot of it is that. A lot of it is just education on how to avoid the noise. And then I think we're in a fortunate situation because, we got this program to this spot or very close to it last year where we were 5-0 in the SEC and we had just beaten LSU and things were trending in a really positive direction. And I think that was really the first time this program in this last few year iteration of it experienced that, people talking positive about them, people talking about potential play, and we didn't handle it the right way last year, and they know that. And so I think we have the opportunity to kind of point back to that and keep them grounded on a one-game mentality or one-week mentality and finish this thing the way we want to so that we can get done what we want to get done.
Yeah, because you can see the rat poison even as players, like you can see the rat poison that can start to creep in at times, especially if you are you guys right now and you're looking at Mizzou, who just lost. They're a 2-loss team. We got Mizzou, South Carolina, Samford, and Texas, who Texas has had so much conversation around negatively. You can very much see like, hey boys, we don't let our foot off the gas here. Especially as a coach, Coach Elko, I want to just read you your career, man. Stony Brook, Penn, Merchant Marine, Fordham, Richmond, Hofstra, Bowling Green, Wake Forest. Then you get your lick with Notre Dame, A&M, out at Duke, and then back at A&M. Man, when you reflect back on your career and your climb in this business, because you clearly you were at the absolute bottom. You had to climb and earn every bit of where you're seated at right now. Crazy shot at Stony Brook.
Yeah.
But in this business, you've done clearly an incredible job. What advantages do you feel like you had making this route, making your own way, when you look back and reflect on a resume like this? Again, all due respect to all these teams I just named.
But talk about catching strays.
Talk about catching strays.
Yeah. You did just go crazy. All these teams suck, and now you're at a good team, Coach. How do you feel?
I don't even mean it like that, bro. I don't even mean it like that. But it's just, you know.
No, I get the question. This is what I would say. It was a unique path for sure. I've said that a lot of times to a lot of different people. It's something we talk about in recruiting. I was never the guy who went and elevated himself as a GA or a position coach. I became a defensive coordinator at Hofstra when I was 26 years old, and I just climbed the ranks of football as a defensive coordinator. And that was just the path that I took. That was how it went. And I think what you learn from it is one, a humbleness and a humility that, you're great coaches, great players. They come from a lot of different places, right? And it's not necessarily who the most star-studded names on social media are. It's the people who are capable and do the work to be really successful. And I think that forms from that. Also, it's probably an appreciation for the opportunities that I have, because that first job, I'll tell you, the first job I was at Stony Brook, my office was in a portable trailer right next to the bathroom. And so I can't say that when I was sitting there going to work every day, slicing cut-up tapes, that I envisioned this would be the ending point. And so I think it keeps you humble, keeps you grounded, and just kind of makes you stick to the process that you've always gone through your whole life.
What were you getting paid as a GA in Stony Brook?
Oh gosh, I think I was getting paid like $6,500. I'll tell you the best one. So the second year, so I'm a Penn grad. So a lot of Penn grads make a lot of money when they get out of college. I didn't. My second year, I went back to Penn, and I kept having to bring recruits through this presentation where they were showing the average starting salary of a Penn grad. And I think I was making like $17,000. I think the average grad was making like $90,000. At that point, I'm thinking to myself, geez, I'm not sure that I made the right decision with my life, but it's worked out. We kind of got to the point we wanted to be.
That is a funny story about questioning your path. Has there ever been a real question for you of being like, maybe you have a tough season or two and you're like, I don't know if this is the path I truly want to go down? Have you ever had one of those moments as a coach?
No, I really haven't. I really have been fortunate. I've been fortunate that most of the time I've been part of programs that were ascending. Never really been up against the block where things were trending backwards or trending downhill. Knock on wood, I've been fortunate enough to never have been fired. And so, I've had a blessed career, if you can think about how many pitfalls there really are in football. And so even though some of those names aren't the most prestigious names of schools that I've been at, I have been fortunate to be part of a lot of really good seasons and a lot of really good situations.
Hats off to you for being selfless to know I'm going to take these recruits through this presentation. And honestly, you're taking strays left and right. Like you're going to get slaughtered. Your ego's going to get slaughtered every time you're running them through this presentation.
I kept asking the lady when I would leave, I'm like, does this have mine like in it? Like, is this counting what I'm making, or is this like a previous graduating class, or how does this work?
That is awesome. Coach, we appreciate the hell of you taking the time out of your day. Busy schedule.
Hang on, I have one more question.
Oh, Will's got one more question, and then I'm going to restart.
You had
this one comes from the wedding.
This one comes from the wedding. Who's number 7? You had a famous quote last year. This is a real program. It's not fake. It's not a politician run. It's not a politician running this program, talking fast and bullshitting everybody. This is a real program for all the recruits out there. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be. Your name, with all of these job openings coming open, your name starts to get in those conversations because the belief on the outside is also Texas A&M, the brand, the logo, everything else. This at one point in time was a stepping stone to all of these other schools, these jobs that are now opening up with LSU, Florida, Penn State. For you sitting where you're at and the movement of NIL money, you building this place to where everyone talks about on the outside what Texas A&M could be. What do you feel? How do you feel about that noise? Are these conversations you have with the players when your name comes up in these conversations? As far as Texas A&M is a spot I want to be. This is the most focus I'm putting into as a coach of the Texas A&M Aggies. What are those conversations like when you're compartmentalizing everything being at A&M?
Yeah, I had a really other famous quote that came out like a week and a half ago that was on social media about my thoughts on these other jobs and it being a waste of brain space. I think no different than we talk to our players. I think it's really important to focus on what's in front of you. We have a lot of confidence in what we're doing here at Texas A&M, what this place can be. And I just don't think those conversations are things that are important at all during the season. And so internally, we address the things that we need to. But like we tell the players to avoid the external noise, I think it's really important that coaches do the same. And that's how we try to go about it.
Coach, man, you are, I tell you what, I'd love to have an ice cold Bud Light with you one day. You saying strays, you having some laughs. Like, I can just tell you're a fucking guy's guy and would love to have a beer with you at some point when we visit.
I appreciate that. We'll get you guys back down to College Station and maybe we'll make that happen.
All right, brother. Coach, thank you very much, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for taking the time, Coach.
Yep.